I would like to see Disney burn another $180 million and go bankrupt.
Yeah.
So someone arrest that man. Arrest him.
Arrest him. Greg.
Yes,
Greg, that's the
video.
Greg is a man that gets it. Thanks, Greg.
Disney is going to assassinate you, and thanks to your terms of service, there's nothing you can do about it.
That's the man who's accepted his death at Disney's contractual hands.
Mando, take me home to the clan I belong. Rest tomorrow, Death Watch Mama, take me home, Mando.
Black shirts coming, stop running, running. Black shirts coming, stop running, running. Black shirts coming, stop running, running. Wide awake from the sleep, lessons of the past on repeat. Wide awake from the sleep, lessons of the past on repeat. Wide awake from the sleep, lessons of the past on repeat. We rising, no holding us back. We worldwide moving as a pack on the streets to the heights. We only attack. They try to hold us down. Put your money on black, money on black, money on black, money on black. Well, I paid for the service, but the screen's gone black. Can't play a thing away to get back. All the folks online are gonna have to wait. Guess I'll step outside and accept my fate. 'Cause it's alright to be disconnected. A lot left that needs to be perfected. Might as well walk and touch some grass. Maybe talk to a gal, have a little laugh. Yeah, it's alright, but it's alright to be disconnected. Signal loud and clear. Equity's right here. I'm a wolf parade, here to make the grade. Meetings full of sugar, call it lemonade. Write a mission, tweet away. Work, oh no, not today. Buzzwords in the air. I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. Yo, yo, Snoop O.R.C.A on the mic. This one for all my time disgraced geisha bitches. Yeah, no, we back in the day, 16th century, same Goku era, straight feudal energy, samurai on the rise, Ganyo in the mix. Hold up, talk about my fixing conflicts quick. Ninja creeping in the shadows, silent and swift. Castles fortified, loyalties to give. Pushing the gold, honest in the heart. Blades clashing, battlefields to art. Same Goku times, to be wild and crazy sizzle. Samurai life, it's the warlord fizzle. Feudal Japan in the house like a drizzle. History in the rhyme, feel the ancient sizzle.
Before we begin, what do you think of my totally accurate samurai attire, right? Yeah, right, totally accurate. Speaking of totally accurate, we do have the confirmation that these Pokemon leaks are real. The Game Freak leaks we were talking about last week have been thoroughly processed, and there's still more to come. And to discuss that with me is the lovely Miss Nerdigans.
Hi, Black Shirt Army. Yes, I still remember.
I never do. Even when I play the intro, I never do. Hello, if you want to be part of the Black Shirt Army, all you have to do is wear a black shirt and you're part of the gang. It's that easy, and welcome aboard. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, by the way, especially if you're new.
And share the stream out, too.
That's important. That's important. But by the way, though, this is the Pokemon leaks. These are the actual box art with the actual copyright legal disclaimer on them, the actual barcodes used to scan out at Walmarts or wherever you scan out in Japan. It's pretty amazing.
There's been a lot of that. If you follow me on Twitter, you know that I've been combing the 4chan boards ever since this started. And I've found a lot of really interesting stuff that 4chan has put out. I've also discovered that they like to fuck with Centro leaks and a lot of the Twitter, the Twitter tards they like to call. I could say the other one, but I'm going to be on the caution of YouTube trying not to flag us. But yeah, 4chan likes to fuck with tourists. And they are very particular on what leaks they do put out there. So you got to know how to know the ways of 4chan. And I learned how to do that pretty well going through the Netflix leaks. But yeah, I will say this though, the porn rumor that went about in terms of how the leaks were obtained, that is not true. That is a lie from what I heard.
The phishing link.
The phishing one, yeah.
Okay.
that is a lie. From what we saw in terms of the actual hack, though, if you read the Game Freak statement, it happened in August 2024. Now, why until now this has happened? Why the leaks are coming out now is a very interesting question. That I don't think anybody knows.
Well, some people may be asking what these leaks are all about. Now, I know that Centro Leaks got taken for a ride on a couple of these designs, but I have a feeling most of the...
I do want to point this out. Pokemon Legends ZA, those, I can probably tell you those are fake, because what the leaker said was they were not going to put out anything related to Pokemon ZA because despite doing all of this crap, they did not want to put anything out related to Pokemon ZA until the game came out. And if you look at 4chan, which I did send the link to, and also the stuff that I put up, they have not even touched ZA at all. Like the most they're at is they put out some Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon stuff. That's like the farthest they've gotten. So we have not seen anything related to ZA. So anything related to that is probably fake.
Yeah, I can't hide the link that you were talking about.
Oh, here, let me put it. I actually have the screenshot on Twitter. Hold on a second.
Okay. Well, the only thing is that Mega Zagard is discussed in the back and forth between Omori and Matsushima. So that's, I don't know. It's one of those things where, again, I don't...
in the private chat, like the screen, you might have to enlarge in the screenshot for that I posted. But yeah, that's everything that they've done thus far. And they said that there's a lot more coming. There is tons of stuff coming.
Right. Well, again, this is not just a oh, hold on. Sorry. From Scooby Doo's for $2 Canadian dollars, not a Canadian American, Canadian dollars. We have hi Xeno.
Oh, come here, kitty. You just sneezed too. Say hi, kitty.
Freshly sneezed cat. There you go.
Freshly
For $2 Canadian dollars.
There you go, kitties.
All right. But yeah, so there's a lot of this information going around, stuff like that. And there's also people that have dug into it too, that have gone and taken 4chan's leak and gone and dug in and find their own information as well. So everything, everywhere, all the time. Intermingled with that is the stuff that some of what Centro has here. It's a little better organized than the big long green texts.
Yeah.
So we have now Gaia is the Gen 10. This was discussed again between Omori and Matsushima and the email leaks.
Yeah, and that's on the leak website that that's posted on 4chan. The code names are definitely there. I could tell you that. But other than the code names, there's nothing else that I've seen from Pokemon Legends ZA.
Right. And so what we have right now are just kind of a little bit of, you know, just some hearsay on what we've got coming forward with the Gaia stuff. And so this is what, you know, is clarified. They have 2 versions as usual, right? We have, you know, everything's been 2 since the beginning. And then the main theme will be like an island exploring and an archipelago. Now, Omori and Matsushima were discussing this in their back and forth in the emails that they were saying that they were going to be dropping the island hopping in Gaia. So I'm not sure we're going to keep getting the island hopping, but they wanted to keep the school function. So I just want to theorize for a minute here. I just because we saw this stuff. I wonder if maybe it's going to be like a tournament thing. If you're part of like a school that has gone out and has to prove their pride, prove that not like Rainbow Pride, but like pride is in like, you have to prove your school's merit. So you're traveling to these other Pokemon schools where these other trainers are trained and you're competing against them on like a tournament level as opposed to just wandering through the tall grass hoping not to get skewered by a Scyther.
So basically, almost like Sun and Moon in a way. That's what it sounds like to me. Because that's what you essentially did in Sun and Moon was go to different islands and battled. I think there was like a couple of schools on there too, if I remember correctly. It's been a long time since I played Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon.
Right, and that's what I'm getting at though is that the I get the feeling that this is going to be like you're part of maybe you're part of a team. You're on a team and you get separated from them, and so you have to go through and get your teammates back and things like that. Because it feels like this has got more adventure to it than the previous ones. But we'll go on and read a little bit more. Apparently, it's being tested already for the Switch 1, but it's in development for Switch 2.
That I can't confirm because I haven't seen anything like that.
Yeah, there were a couple emails again between Omori and Matsushima and the other guy. I can't remember his name at the moment, and they were discussing that the Gaia was being tested for Switch 1, and that's good in my opinion because
it sounds like something that would be the case. We've seen it before too, like for Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess is the best example off the top of my head, where they had it for both GameCube and Wii at the time. So that one, if they are going to go this route, it would not surprise me. I'm just thinking of Gen 3 at the moment, but remember when Gen 3 came out, was when the or I should say Gen 4, excuse me, was the one I was thinking of. It was when the DS came out and you could still play Game Boy Advance games on there too. So they were thinking of that in mind, so you could still play your Game Boy Advance and your DS games. So that's what I'm just thinking is they're preparing for like maybe backwards compatibility kind of thing.
Okay.
That's what my guess is. They're preparing for like a Game Boy Advance, like Nintendo DS scenario more than anything else. That to me would make the most sense.
Yeah.
Or a DS or 3DS.
And yet we'll never get another game where we can go to 2 continents. Well, this might be that island hopping thing that they're talking about.
Well, actually, something that I did see in the leaks and did get confirmed was we were supposed to be going to Southern Kalos, but that got scrapped. And that was something that was rumored for a long time.
Yeah, there's poop all over the streets in Southern Kalos. You don't want to go this time of year, you know?
But like people were talking about it for a long time that it was rumored that we were supposed to get that. But yeah, it was confirmed in these leaks that Southern Kalos was supposed to happen.
Well, maybe it'll take place in the multiplayer game they're talking about here, the Pokemon Synapse. That is of course, code name. And of course, this will be a multiplayer game, a collaboration between I Love Computer Art. That is a Japanese-born computer art, computer game development company from the late 80s, I want to say. And Game Freak, of course. It's been described as like a Splatoon-like game, and it's not a massive multiplayer online game, so it appears to be you'll be playing it locally, kind of like Pokemon Stadium.
I just want Pokemon Stadium 3. You could put that in Pokemon Stadium 3 for all I care.
Maybe it'll be a game mode, like a territory thing you do with your Pokemon.
That'd be kind of cool, but I just want Pokemon. You could, like in the mini games that Pokemon Stadium 3 had, that kind of thing. You could just have it there. Just give me Pokemon Stadium 3. That's what
Sure. I mean, they had a winning formula with the Pokemon Stadium game, and I have absolutely no idea why they don't like run that up as much as the Mario Kart games. Those two
Right?
should be released on every new succession of one. There should be the other one. We
It's
should be up to
here's
Pokemon
the ones
Stadium
that
8.
here's the ones that they should have kept releasing for, in terms of Pokemon, is Pokemon Stadium, Pokemon Snap, Pokemon, at least in my opinion, Pokemon Puzzle League. I love that game. I hate that it never got a sequel. And Pokemon Pinball.
Yep.
Pokemon Pinball, if you've never played Pokemon Pinball, especially the Game Boy Advance version, you have missed out. That game is so much fun.
And instead, we're getting Let's Go Wooper. Yeah.
Ugh.
All right.
Well, Let's Go Eevee was actually, I like Let's Go Eevee. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, I get that one because Eevee was like the close competitor for Pikachu. But Wooper,
Well, yeah,
I
'cause
think
that was Gary's first Pokemon. Gary Oak's first Pokemon basically was Eevee. So
they're trying to make Wooper a thing. That's
why?
Well, it's because of Wobbuffet. Wobbuffet was such a success being the fourth man, the Team Rocket. They're trying to make Wooper the new Pichu.
No, Wooper is cute, but not that cute.
Exactly. It's like pump your brakes. But apparently there's movie 24 that they're working on. It's been in development hell since 2021, and the status right now is still unclear. It will be a fresh start from the movie universe from a new protagonist point of view. It's set in Kanto. Only the original 151 will appear. Hey, Jacob! Congratulations! Only these original 151? Dude, there's hope, man. For like one movie, though. One movie. The main mythical will be Mew and Koban Shizuno. I don't know who that is, but
You have me sold because I love Mew, but like the thing I just don't understand. I know I understand because they're trying to have it more focused towards kids. God damn it! Can we just get a Pokemon Adventures anime? Like, just give us that already. Give us a Pokemon Adventures anime adaptation, and you will have so many people happy. You will.
well,
I
you
mean,
know,
you're
they're
going back to Kanto. I mean, it's right there.
that
You're
might
going
be
back
what
to
they're
Kanto
doing, though.
anyway.
Well, look at it. That
Mew
might be
was
what they're doing.
I doubt it. I doubt, especially if it's a movie in 21 minutes, or if it's 12 episodes in 21. Nah, that's not enough to cover Red, Blue, and Green's arc. No way. You need way more than. I think you need like 24 episodes to cover.
Well, it
the
says it's
first
a
arc.
fresh start for the movie
Oh,
universe. So
that's
what
the
if
movie
it's
though. I looked at the
yeah?
Project Reload by accident. For a movie,
Oh yeah, I know.
for the movie, no way. You need way more time to cover the arc. If it's to introduce, even if it's just to introduce like Red and Green, even if maybe if it was an origin kind of thing for like what happens later down the line, like if it was Blue's origin, because that is just extremely messed up on what happens with Blue, like before the series starts, maybe, but I doubt it.
Well, look, we heard earlier this year that they're going to be either relaunching the manga or doing an anime based on Red. So,
Oh,
I
I can dream. But
well,
what's Red? Well, I thought it
maybe
was a
we'll get
live
a
action
movie.
though. I thought it was a live
Right.
action based on Red.
Maybe they'll do an anime movie to bring the brand into alignment, and then you've got live action Red and anime movie Red. And so they're moving just into the basic characterization. So
I just want Pokemon Adventures Red. Like, I don't want that to be live action Red. But no. Don't make that live action. That needs to be animated.
So this is Project Reload again. This is a code name, so quite obviously this is going to be for post Ash, what they're going to do with an anime after Ash. And so my guess is with just 12 episodes at 21 minutes apiece, you're going to get a maybe not. You're probably going to get Red. Actually, the more that I think about it, you're probably going to get Red. But it's going to be a Red that's like just getting started. So that first season brings him to the gym leader, the first gym leader. Maybe brings him to Brock.
Well,
and that's.
Well, we had Pokemon Origins that did the full thing. So like, if you're gonna do Red, like the pacing, because I'm thinking about the pacing for Pokemon Adventures in terms of Red.
Mhm.
The pacing was a little bit faster in terms of Red going to the gym leaders and getting the badges and stuff like that.
Yep.
But the reason why I think it'd be better for it to have, more than like 12 episodes is because there's a little bit more depth there with the Team Rocket members.
Yep.
To give them a little bit more characterization, because there's really good backstory for them. Like,
Mhm.
love to see it, but I doubt it. But if if Project Reload is the Pokemon Adventures anime adaptation, and it's only like 12 episodes, I'd be worried about that. If it would probably only be up to, I'm guessing, before Yellow would come in, if they're going to go that route.
Well, consider that they may do that, but it may be way overdone. So it's like a really way over the top presentation for it. And so
Yeah.
it's those 21 minutes are just like a whole tons of beautifully animated stuff. And it's like
Yeah.
this really great adventure that's very contained. Might not be a Pokemon adventure, the manga itself. Could just be a really condensed version of that
That
then
I could see.
translates into an OVA very well. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
might be what they do.
I could see that kind of, again, kind of like what we saw with Pokemon Origins.
Yeah. Yep.
I could see that.
So they want to do a sequel to the Detective Pikachu movie. They want to do the Great Detective Pikachu. We saw Omori and Mitsuyama talking about this as well. They wanted to emphasize Detective Conan. They wanted to do
Oh,
more.
they want to do that? Oh, they want to
Yeah.
go the Detective Conan route? Detective
Right.
Conan is awesome. If you've never read or the anime adaptations is
Yeah, I
pretty
love
good.
it. I
Yeah,
absolutely love the anime.
that's because Ayama works really close with the animation team or with the anime team. They that's why there's a lot of hiatuses for the manga, one for research purposes, and the other reason is to work with the anime team. So that's why the anime is as good as it is because of Ayama, who is the mangaka of Detective Conan, working really closely with the team. But they're going a Detective Conan route. That would be really interesting.
Well, again, that's what they were discussing in the emails regarding, this whole season of change, along with Mega Zagard, and, his appearance in the anime so early. This was part of their discussion, is that they wanted to emphasize like a Detective Conan angle on this stuff so that it was less Ryan Reynolds making funny voices and trying to be a cute little fuzzy animal. And they didn't say this, right? I'm just kind of paraphrasing for their conversation, that they just wanted to really emphasize on the childhood innocence of Conan. That
Yeah.
he is a young man solving mysteries. He's not motivated by anything else, and he's not slimy. The way that they presented the Detective Pikachu in the American version. Again, I'm paraphrasing. They didn't say slimy. They really wanted to focus on Detective Conan. That's all their correspondence was about. And for what I can infer from that, between the two comparisons, is that Detective Pikachu in the US version is very grotesque, right? And so this movie would be more in line with a child audience, as opposed to like the 18 to 45 range that they were trying to hit with the American market. So,
well, Detective Conan is a little bit different, though. Detective Conan is targeted towards like every age, because Detective Conan is almost as old as we are.
right. I wouldn't say that means Detective Conan is for children. I would say that the emphasis on the story and how the stories play out and how the language is in the stories, that it is emphasized for like an 8 to 14 range as opposed to 45-year-olds.
No, but what I mean is that, yeah, Detective Conan is technically for kids, but it doesn't talk down to you like it is for kids.
I don't know. I suddenly feel like this might be a better idea. You just paint Danny DeVito yellow. Just paint him yellow and give him Pikachu ears and tell him to go around and say Pika Pika. I'm here to save the day. Pika Pika. So anyway, I started shocking. I started thunder blasting.
Oh god, that'd be so funny. But yeah, I think that's the thing. That's something that people need to understand. There's a difference in terms of Japanese writing between like Japanese shows for kids and, well, modern American shows for kids, because it wasn't like this when we were younger. Is that they don't talk down to their audience. Like
Right.
they treat their audience as like, you know, as if they're individuals for one thing. They don't talk down to them. So like that way it's relatable that like anyone at any age can watch it. And it's not just plain and stupid like a lot
Right.
of modern American shows.
Now, the other thing that was important to this is that the map editor,
Yes.
the
I've seen
native
many of
map
them.
editor. Now, I've been told by people who may or may not make their own Pokemon games. I can't confirm or deny that this is very antiquated. And it's sort of like, you go to those, maybe you don't have them out your way, but I have train museums where I live, and
Yeah, we have them.
they have these crank machines that'll
Yep.
flatten a penny out for you. And
Mm-hmm.
so what it was described to me as is that it was basically like using one of those machines to flatten a penny when you can just not do that. And, and it's a very complicated process using this editor, whereas the modders or the custom ROM makers, if you will, created their own environments to be able to do this. So, which again has expedited the process. And this is kind of an antique to them. It's like, oh, so that's how they made it. It's sort of like taking a tour of a virtual Titanic, I guess. You could just look at
Yeah,
all the craftsmanship. So,
yeah, it's been really interesting seeing in the 4chan forums anyway, like people describing how they've been modded or like going through it and like breaking down the builds and all that. It's been very, very fascinating.
yeah, and when we find out, this is the crazy thing here is that, as Luigi's pointing out here, is 2D anime character models are visually appeal. Excuse me, I apologize. Are visually appealing to kids and adults, and they help save memory space for content.
That's
And this
true.
is true. If you don't know, the little cartridges that went in the back of your Nintendo were actually kind of oversized. The
Hmm.
circuit board inside of it and the memory chip inside of it didn't occupy that much space. Even more so with your Nintendo NES cartridges and your 64 cartridges that didn't occupy the entire inside of the shell. They were more over that way so you could get a hold of it and store it properly. And that's it. That's it. So yeah, he's absolutely right on this one. And now if you want to like make your own Pokemon game, like from the native map maker to say that, like a wooden shipbuilder, there are people that do this, that you can say that you made your off-brand Pokemon, fan game out of the editor. I don't know if you want to let Game Freak know that you did that, but
Well,
you,
I don't. Well, the thing is that if you don't
it's
like,
pretty unique.
well, here's the thing though that people need to understand. I don't think they care as long as you're not making a profit off of it. If you're just doing it for fun, then they don't really care. It's when money is exchanging hands, that is when they have a problem with it. It's kind of like with ROMs and emulators. ROMs and emulators, they don't give a shit about it really. It's just when people are making money off of it, that's when they have a problem with it. And it's just how it is with like almost any kind of Japanese media. They don't care. They care. Well, obviously they care to an extent, but like it's when because they want people to be able to access their content as much as possible. But it's when people are making money off of it that's when they have a problem.
Well, and again, I don't know how they'd feel about using the stolen map maker.
Well, that's a different story.
You
Well,
know,
there's that too, but I
but
mean,
it is a neat thing to step out and say, I again, legal limitations. I'm not advocating this, but it is a neat thing to step out and say, like, hey, this was made with the original map maker that you used to create these way back when we were kids, and that's pretty special. That's pretty special. But as I was told by people that make these on their own, that there are far easier ways to do it now, and you don't need the you don't need to use the map maker anymore. It's
well,
quite
it might actually be good for
antiquated.
like, well, it might be good for like people that are starting to get into video game development though, to just get a idea of what it used to be like and go from there.
Meteor Advocate Timon, member of the channel, says Nintendo sues even if no money is involved. That's right. They seem to have permanently hurt feelings.
Mm,
And
I th-
heyo to you too.
it depends, I think. I think it just depends on the situation.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's up to them if they are going to sue, and they seem to be happy to sue everybody and their brother lately. Um, this this comes to as we also have like some very strange lore that came out. And whoops, this is the one that wasn't. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find the artillery one. There it is. So there was some lore about the Pokemon that was released. Now, this is not secret lore by any measure, but you have to speak to certain NPCs in order to get these stories or read certain texts that are like, engravings into rocks and stuff that otherwise you would not run across. This is not like by the way, your Pokemon is half human, and here's the twisted story about how that happened. And so this was quite jarring for a lot of people who are like me and just played the Pokemon games to collect the Pokemon. Spencer, your devices are disconnected. I can't add you. So as soon as you connect your stuff, I'm happy to add you. But the
But
yeah.
something I do want to
So-
emphasize though is because I posted this on Twitter is I posted all the Japanese
Oh,
versions
don't add
because I want to make sure the translations are accurate because for example for the Typhlosion one, because I double checked the document, that one is straight up AI translated, so that one I don't think is accurate. This one, the artillery one, it said it was translated, but I put it into Deep L and it was the same as Deep L, so that one it looks like it was probably translated via Deep L as well. So I just want to make sure everything is translated correctly via via Japanese Twitter. My some of my friends that are translators on Japanese Twitter. So just take what you're seeing here with a grain of salt for at least for now. Because
Right.
yeah.
Moreover, I would just say that this stuff is the lore, the mythology of Pokemon. It doesn't. I don't think the translations are going to get too far away from what we have right here already. They may choose to use different, different words, different placement of words, but the gist of what happens in these stories is not going to change. I don't think, and we're not going to read this whole thing, so don't worry. You don't have to cover your children's ears or anything like that, but you probably ought to.
But let's clarify, this was not written by a woman. That was a machine translation error. It was written by the Pokemon writer, Suguru. Oh my God, what's his name? I had it in front of me. Oh my God, Natsutsuki. I think that's his name.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, this is just the gist of it, all right? So, there was a time when the boundary between Pokemon and humans was blurred. In a coastal village, there was a man one day, and he was walking along the shore. He found a female octillery washed up on the beach, and he had relations with that. Then he went home, and he came back the next day and did it again. And a few days later, he kept throwing the thing back into the sea, by the way, just as you do. You just have relations with an octillery and just whip it off into the ocean when that's over with. And so one night, after several days had passed, the man had a dream. And in the dream, the octillery said, "I cannot come to you, but I will deliver our child to you. It is our child, yours and mine." So that clarifies what happened. They didn't play chess. They didn't write letters home to mom. They didn't drink tea. It's a baby. And so he raised the baby. The father passed away, and the young man was super lonely. Now, I'm just going to skip through all this crazy stuff that goes on here. What ends up happening to this guy is he's defending his village from these O.R.C.A, these bear Pokemon. And it comes down to him having to bear fight a man, fight a bear, okay? Bare fist fight a bear, okay? And so what happens is the two of them strangle each other to death. This isn't a Pokemon game. This guy who's the child.
There's multiple O.R.C.A myths. There's it was weirdly numbered, but before I forget, the name is Suguru Nakatsui. That's his name. I almost forgot. Let me read what it is real quick because it'll drive me nuts. So he's basically been involved with coordinating concepts for characters in Pokemon, as well as writing the Pokedex entries since Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. That's what he's
Omega
been doing.
Roofy.
Sorry, I can't fucking talk. Omega
No,
Ruby.
you're right on point with that. Like Omega Roofy. That might be the next Pokemon game.
All right, so for Ursaring, there's Ursaring 1, Ursaring 2, Ursaring 0714, and Ursaring 0722, and Ursaring 0726. I told you, there's like multiple stories. It was weird looking at this on the document. I was like, wait, what? Why are there so many Ursaring stories? It was the most random thing.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect a bear to play that much of a role in the mythology of Pokemon, but wouldn't you know?
Same with Lapras is maybe I could
bears.
understand. Lapras I could kind of understand. Typhlosion, that was kind of random. Slackoth was very random, and Slacking too, and same with the Pilliswine. I was like, wait, what? Why is Pilliswine getting a story? That's weird.
Well, you know, there's a lot of things out here that don't quite add up. Like we have these original starters, and we never got Inner Tube Bunny again. We got Tube Bunny. I don't know what the name is. I can't read kanji, so whatever this creature's name is. But Trico didn't change. Like Trico's like, you can't fix perfection, baby. I'm just a gecko. I'm just a gecko, and I walk around on my 2 feet. And that's you know. Meanwhile, they gave like Torchic some weird bird ears, I guess. I don't know, but never saw Tube Bunny return. That was it. They gave Trico a cigarette. They just gave him a cigarette. It's true. It's true. But yeah, no, we didn't see that. Closest thing was we got Plus and Minus. Remember those Pichu wannabe? Yeah.
Or Plus and Minus. There you go.
Yeah, I don't know. But that was the close because they were more bunny themed than mouse themed. So that was the closest we ever got to that. Tube Bunny became them, but yeah, apparently we were going to have a water starter that quite literally had an inner tube. Just the unsinkable Tube Bunny. Justice for Tube Bunny.
But Mudkip is better anyway.
Yeah. Well, all the memes. Yeah. And we do have more fun adventures in internet. I don't even know what to call this anymore. It's just a mess. So the Splatoon community is having a bit of a problem lately.
Oh
do you want to bring them up to speed, Nerdigans?
Oh, that's the fan art one. But if you go below it, the what started this was Pop Team epic mangaka Bakub Okawara drew this really adorable art of Octoling Marina, and well, you could imagine what happened. You got to go in the QRTs to see it, but yeah, there was a lot of let's see, Twitter art police accusing them of whitewashing Marina. And to the point where they had to apologize, which was insane. And the voice actor for Marina appeared in the QRTs too, and complimented the art. And then they got bullied to the point where they deleted the tweet. It's just insane what is happening here. And a lot of the people that were in the QRTs that I just don't know what the hell is going on in both the Splatoon and the Genshin community. There are a lot of minors, like between, 14 and 17, that were saying the most racist things to this mangaka. I'm like, what is going on here? Oh my God. But the thing that is interesting that is coming out of this, though, and that's probably because of Bakub being a beloved mangaka, is Japanese Twitter ain't having any of this. They are calling out the double standard that's happening with whitewashing and blackwashing, and they are calling out all the racism that's happening. And well, the Westerners are well, they're being exposed for their for their Asian racism and their xenophobia too. It's insane what is happening. Oh my god! Like for the other fan art that was trying to support Bakub, someone said that was a Fed post. I'm dead serious. Someone literally said that was a Fed post. I was laughing so hard when I saw that. Oh my god, it was so
Surprised
stupid.
me.
Oh my god.
It gets really awkward as you go on with these people, and the cognitive dissonance that they have gets wider and wider.
Yeah.
The
I just have to wonder, where are these kids' parents? Like, also, who the hell is teaching these kids this?
school, literally TikTok, school, all of their media, all of the people that they are influenced by, the media they consume, every last person that they would have assumed to have any authority over them, aside from their parents, of course, is telling them this.
And also, where is Twitter support on this? Why aren't they like suspending these people's accounts? And now there's the whole thing with the block button that's happening, which is ridiculous. It's basically turning the block button to a glorified mute button at this point.
Right. Yep.
If you're not going to enforce TOS, at least keep the freaking block button. Like, come on. So stupid.
Hey, you've used the wrong skin color. Please respect the character you're drawing.
And then the fat picture.
I like communist black Homer. I like workers of the world unite Homer. That's special right there. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Fat Black Misty. Fat Black Misty.
Oh my god. But some of what Japanese Twitter is saying is great. They're saying that like some of these activists don't know how to create, they just steal. And the thing that's the best part about this is, based on what I've seen, this whole thing started because of a white woman.
What do you know? A lot of that just keeps happening.
And they went private. The account went private after they got destroyed by Japanese Twitter.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, there's the death threat.
Neat. That's cool. That's perfectly sane. Who wouldn't just do that? Meanwhile, this is what goes on the other side of this argument.
Yeah, that's okay, apparently.
He's like a character that hasn't been unlocked yet. Oh no. No! That's Black Deku for sure. Oh my gosh.
But that's okay though.
The only thing they need to do to hide him from All for One is turn off the lights.
No! Don't turn off the lights.
Holy shit.
But you know what's funny though is
Wow.
because Marina is based off of Gyaru, and she's supposed to have the same like skin tone her voice actor does. Like, these people are so funny. They're saying that it's not a Gyaru. She's not even based off of a some said that it's not even based off a Japanese person. That's this person, or that's not even Asian person. That's just a straight up black woman. I'm like, what? Even all these Japanese people are telling you that this is based off of a Gyaru.
Oh no.
Yeah.
This is dangerous. This is how wars start right here. This is how a war starts.
Well, that's how pissed off people are, because they attacked the Pop Team Epic mangaka and bullied them into apologizing.
This person is hidden their reply, or the original author hid it. Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is bordering on porn. I don't want to trip the
don't.
YouTube censors.
But yeah, some of them like drew fan art to support it, but these memes, man, that are coming out of this are just amazing. But there's the apology right there.
He says, I've received a response that this was racism against black people because the character's skin is depicted lighter than in the original work. I also believe that if Lita were human, she would be black.
Yeah.
Sorry, my coloring skills are poor, so it's not accurate.
And they still bullied him anyway. They said that that, oh, you're full of crap. You did this on purpose. It's 2024. How do you not know that about the dropper tool, eyedropper tool? I'm like, what is wrong with you people? Like, come on. And again, a lot of these people are minors. They're like 15, 16 years old.
This is great. If I had a nickel for every time an innocent piece of fan art caused a race war on Twitter, I'd be richer than King Midas. And there it is, and it says, how many times has it been now? How many times has it been now?
But that's the tweet where Japanese Twitter really went the F off in the replies is that one. Because you see all the blackface.
Ah, there you are.
Yeah, there I am.
This is actually worse. It's even worse when they completely paint an existing character. Oh, I can't say that last part. Too white, sorry. But never apologize to these people. They are insane. If you apologize once, they will forever harass you and demand more and more concessions to their insane political worldview. Ignore the communists and be proud to share your talents. Ben Smith, you know, that's a Japanese name if I ever heard one. But good old Ben Smith, right? Samurai Ben Smith. Yeah. It is the globalists who want to oppress white people through the BLM movement. Black people are a convenient tool. Globalists make people fight and quarrel without coming out into the open. When they realize how this when will they realize how this works? LGBT, political correctness, and BLM are all the same thing. Yeah.
Someone posted Tumblr.
Samurai Ben. So.
I love the Tumblr. That's great.
Yeah.
The Tumblr art. That is so awesome.
I have to be a little careful with some of these because they get a little racy, but yeah. George is a Japanese name. Okay.
But this is so true. This is totally these are Tumblr refugees. Let's be real.
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, you've seen these. These obviously exist. These aren't AI. Oh, God. Oh, I gotta get away from that last one. That. Yeah, and then there's.
Yeah.
Yep. And, whoops, click the wrong icon. So this is black guy here. Just a great way to open up. It's a great way. This isn't trying to erase Japanese culture as most other Americans try to tell you. This is actually a form of endearment, though it may look weird to you. It's like connecting each other. It seems like the Americans in this reply try to make us out as assholes. Now, I wonder, are they going to feel that kind of solidarity when Ryan Gosling is cast as T'Challa in Secret Wars? Are they going to feel like that, huh? You know, he's got his I'm just Ken bleached blonde hair and his dazzling bright blue eyes as King T'Challa of Wakanda. Are they going to feel connected to white people?
Well, like,
I don't think so. I don't think there's going to be a lot of connection there.
But I don't think these people realize that it was a good chunk of these people realize that it was a white Karen that started this.
No.
But
nobody knew that Arnita Sarkeesian's friend that had sex with somebody created this whole. It's like Zoe Quinn, right? Nobody knew that. They were just mad at each other because like all this crazy stuff finally had a venting point.
But like I've been saying it since like 2020 when I've seen it in action.
This should be illegal.
It's always a white Karen. Well, it's always a Karen with a megaphone that leads the LARP. And well, it's true here. It's every time. It's always a Karen with a bullhorn. There we go. It's always a Karen with a bullhorn that leads the LARP. And God, every time, whether it's IRL or on Twitter or TikTok or whatever, it happens every time.
Wow, that is crazy. I'm just stunned. I've never seen black trunks before, and
Neither have I.
I don't know what to make of it. Like I'm stunned by this. This is absolutely. But there's the Black Jujutsu Kaisen kids too.
Yeah, I've seen Black Gojo too.
This is surreal. I don't know what to tell you. This is just bizarre. Out of this world for me. I don't know. Like I'm. Ah!
There's the black cosplayers, yeah.
This is like that Naruto in the Hood stuff, Dragon Ball Z in the Hood stuff. You remember those videos on YouTube,
Yes.
right? Naruto in the Hood. I remember that. That was some good stuff right there. Yeah, they're great cosplays. It just caught me off guard when I'm looking through all this Japanese text, and then all of a sudden, you know, it just caught me off guard.
Oh yeah, then there's the other thing that these Westerners are doing in response to the Japanese people that are speaking out. They're saying, "Oh, shouldn't you be worrying about your birth rate instead of this?" It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, look at that. One of those watermelon emojis.
Or Palestinian flags in this case.
You know, it's just what problem. Be careful with that one, because Asmongold kind of lit a fire. And I don't particularly want to find out if that fire can find us. I want to be careful.
Oh yeah, the other thing that they're doing is they're comparing this to Brazilian Miku. And here's the difference between this and Brazilian Miku. Brazilian Miku, because they're saying like, why aren't you saying that she's tan Miku? She's fucking Brazilian Miku. She's from Brazil. There's also Japanese people in Brazil anyway. So that kind of defeats your argument. So it's not a race swap or anything like that if she's from fucking Brazil. Or she's, like, what is wrong with you people? Do you not know the difference between like race, ethnicity, nationality? Do you not know that difference? Like, tan is not what Brazilian Miku is associated with. It's just Brazilian Miku. It's just her. And she has tan lines. She has white there. And also,
it's weird.
Well,
Yeah.
also the other thing is though, as well, is the people that draw Brazilian Miku, they're not doing it out of malice. They're doing it because they love Miku.
Well, and again, it's another thing. Like, let's say she is tan. Like, she looks like she's been on the beach. She's got tan lines. She's been on the beach. Whoop-de-doo. People get tan. That happens. It's one of those things where, like, they're so quick to stick a flag in it because at the end of the day, and I've found this because I'm creating media of my own, and the reality is that these people find the media in their native lands to be inadequate and the media that comes from another land. I don't believe that the Japanese rule over entertainment. I don't believe that the Americans rule over entertainment. I honestly believe that if you create something, it can be good, it can be bad. That's the end of it. There's no other greater merit to it than that, And so this right here is only exemplary to me that the people in Brazil that drew this did not find a character in their land that they wanted to do this to. That they decided Hatsune Miku was going to be the one that they decided to do this. Now, granted, Brazil has the largest outside of Japan population, so we're still dealing with the circle of life, if you will, here. So whoever drew this may in fact be Japanese descended and decided to merge their own personal life experience into this. But what I am ultimately saying is that the native lands, the characters in these native lands, apparently feel inadequate to the characters from Japan. That's all I'm saying is that why would you have to create Black Deku? Why don't you just create a black samurai 14-year-old? It's not that hard. They created a Japanese one.
Well, here's my issue. Because there's a huge difference between like a fan edit or an edit / fix it, like offensive fix it fan edit, and like straight up fan art. Like for me, fan art, like you could do if you're drawing it yourself, whether it's like digital drawing from the ground up or whatnot, And
Okay.
you could do whatever the hell you want. You could race swap, gender swap. It doesn't matter. It's your imagination. It's your thing. But when with these race edits or these blackwashing edits that you see here, people are just straight up stealing other people's art and just putting it in Photoshop and just changing the color. It's
Yep.
really rude and it's gross. Like, what is wrong with you people? Do you not see how racist that is? It's different than say if it's fan art and someone drew it, it's because they wanted to do their own interpretation of the character. Whereas, as I said, a fix-it edit, they're just stealing another person's art and fixing it to make it, to what they deem is adequate.
Right, and again, we're dealing with people who they have to understand that in the United States, not you in particular, but just people out in the world. In the United States, we have a fixation on media, unlike any other place in the world. And media comes to represent our physical selves as opposed to just being something that we observe and say, oh, that amused me, or oh, wow, that was reflective of how I experienced that very event, or how I would react to that. Whereas here in the US, these characters are sort of extensions of our egos. And so what ends up happening is that you cannot have a anime Japanese Deku because that is not an extension of a African American, Black American experience. They do not possess the ability as Americans, not just Africans, but just as Americans, to observe this as a separate entity with which they can then have a relationship with. Now, again, it's 2D. I'm not saying go out and marry Deku or anything. What I'm saying is that you can have a relationship with that character that doesn't make him an extension of your ego. And that's what you're seeing these people complain about on Twitter. That's what you're seeing all this back and forth about at the end, is the fact that these people flatly cannot observe fiction without seeing a one-to-one version of themselves in it. And it's just how media is absorbed now in the United States. It's been the last 20 years that we've been forcing this idea that unless it looks like a Gap ad or the first episode of Power Rangers, it's racist, it's awful, it doesn't represent anybody but the people you see. And that it's stupid.
Well, there's the other thing too that that's really frustrating is that if it's anything with any melanin, that it's automatically Black. That's really frustrating, especially for people that watch anime or read manga. Is like, say, if there's an Okinawan character, because Okinawans have tan skin, they're automatically considered Black to a lot of these people when they're not. They're just tan.
Right. And at the end of the day, this is ultimately what we're up against is people who assume that everyone in Africa is Black, everyone in South America looks like a taco truck vendor, and that's what they're up to with this, is that those folks that are telling us all about how racist things are, they have a very racist view of the world, a very one-dimensional idea of what people look like. We learned this with the Genshin Impact kids.
These kids are just as bad as them. Oh my God.
Yep.
I didn't think that Splatoon was on par with the. Well, I still think the Hoyoverse kids are probably worse.
Are you sure about that?
Than Splatoon? Yeah, because they were rejoicing over
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Comparing this to Pacific War. I don't know if Genshin Impact made it to the Pacific War comparison.
Oh my God.
Look at this.
This is wild.
That is amazing. That they're saying this they're calling this kamikaze attack. That's what they're calling. That's what the visual you're looking at is.
I've seen some dumbasses say that this is going to start World War III. I'm like, are you high?
I hope that Putin decides to put the hammer down on race swappers on Twitter by nuking the United States. I hope that's his solution.
Dude, that's what I said. These people
that's
are
hilarious.
just, remember, this is why I say they're not as dumb and stupid and insane as the Genshin kids. Because remember, the Genshin kids don't know that the CCP is committing active genocide.
Well, they know it. They don't care though, because the
No,
people
they
that
don't know. They do not know that the CCP is committing active genocide. They have no clue. I mean, why else would they say that they shouldn't be associating with McDonald's because they are supporting one by
because the
collaborating with McDonald's?
genocide that China's practicing has not been expressed to them in that manner. They have been told that the Uyghurs are a problem and must be dealt with, and they go, yes, that's
They don't
perfectly
know about the
reasonable.
Uyghurs, though. They don't know about the Uyghurs, though. They have no idea.
Well,
We're
they
talking
are
about, like,
kids, so, you know.
yeah, that's why I'm like, that's why I say the Hoyoverse kids situation is they're a lot worse than Splatoon, even though they are extremely racist and xenophobic. They are. That's a little bit worse because they are that ignorant and stupid that they don't know that they are supporting a company that's committing genocide while telling them that to not collab with another company that's supporting a genocide. It's just that stupid.
Well, and here we go. There's egg in their face. Natlin is full of Mexican land and people names, and there are many black characters, which is not natural to real life in Mexico. So there you go. They ended up what they said they were going to do. They took Africa and South America and slammed them together to make a new continent. Wow. How about that?
But it's not enough, though. They want playable characters, though. It's not enough for them.
Well,
Never
either
enough
way.
for them.
It's almost if you just don't listen to these people in the first place. Is that a
don't.
wild idea?
Well, it worked out for Hoyoverse. They didn't listen. They just did their thing. So but that's just what we're dealing with. And you're going to see more and more of that go on because the erosion of media here in the US is going to continue pitching in this direction. Whereas media around the world is going to just say people who are good for the role will get the role, the end of it. That's it. And well, guess which one's going to win?
Not them.
Yeah, not the people that are casting based on race. That's for sure. But
well, I mean, look at Japanese Twitter. They're not tolerating the fuckery with Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed Shadows, and now they're not tolerating this fuckery here with the Splatoon, and now I say Splatoon. God damn it! But now it's going to be interesting to see what happens from here with Japanese Twitter because they're becoming more and more aware of what's happening.
Well,
just wait till the North Koreans get Twitter.
Yeah, don't count on it. They're getting training in China right now, in Russia rather, right now, to go fight on the front lines of Ukraine. It's like, well, it's that bad, huh? It's really that bad. You got to have Kim send some guys.
Well, China's just making fun of them but just on a different social media platform.
Who,
the North Koreans?
No, I'm talking about China. The Chinese are making fun of these psychos on Weibo.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We thought, why are they making fun of the North Koreans?
I was gonna say, like, Kim's gonna be awfully upset.
That's like kicking the man when he's down.
But they're permanently down.
Mm-hmm.
But Spencer's gonna need a few minutes to come in here. He's wrapping up something.
I gotta read this because this made me cackle. So one of the fan artists that is getting attacked by these psychos that supported the coup posted this tweet, and they're trying to like use this as a way to like destroy the fan artist. But I just think it's funny. They said next time color it properly. She/him says while his entire account consists of blackwashed anime characters. I'm sorry, that was just so funny.
Blackface.
So, in just brief news here while we're waiting on Spencer to
the One Piece hiatus.
Up to. Yep, there it is. And that's what's going on. So there's also good news, though. There's going to be the Fishman Island remastered with modern composing, better pacing, and even corrections. There's also art updates, so it'll also look a little more closer to how things look today than they did. What, 20 years ago now is when that got started?
Yep. But then what's the point of having Wit even doing this remake?
What?
What's the point of Wit doing this remake?
Well, the remake again was ordered by Netflix. This was not something
Oh
so that
yeah.
Netflix wanted their own One Piece. So there's no bearing on the actual One Piece.
No, but I'm just
So-
saying that, like, seeing this here, it's just like, what's the point of even having this remake now?
So Netflix owns their own One Piece. That's it. That's it.
So Nerdigans, there's a thing called money, right? And you use
Right.
it to buy things, you barter with it, and I think that might be the answer you're looking for.
So yeah, that One Piece anime is going to be off for the next 6 months, and these guys are moving ahead with redoing the original first arc of the anime. So look forward to that going on with the next few months. You know, it's called capitalism. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's called cronyism. We're not very capitalist these days. You got to know people to spend money even these days. So.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I will say this here just real quick for a second. Nergens, I asked you last week if how well versed are you in the Pokemon manga? I know you guys opened up the show talking about Pokemon earlier, and I do want to kind of recycle, and I'm probably going to dedicate a retro wave to talking about the different arcs of Pokemon, starting with like obviously the gold, not the gold, the red, blue, and green era, and then kind of circling back to modern era. I'm caught up a little bit back. I'm back like was it Diamond at the moment, so I'm catching back with kind of like the Battle Zone stuff, and none of that stuff makes any sense to me whatsoever. But you know,
But what did you think of Ruby? Well, what did you think of Ruby and Sapphire? I like that one a lot.
Yeah, I mean, because there's definitely mixed elements to it, but it's like I'm at the point now where I'm now getting introduced to the whole Team Galactic lore, and their whole thing just makes like no sense to me on a fundamental level. I'll get to them here in a second. But then it's like, okay, they tried to like drift away from Team Rocket, and now we're at like Team Magma and Team Aqua, and it's like one team basically wants to flood the entire world again, and the other one wants to expand all the land in the world. Yet they're both run by like literally functional retards. Which I find very, very funny. They're not even like evil, like they're just like diabolical. They just want to destroy everything. They're just dumb, and it's like it's kind of hard for they have like a villainous hate towards them.
No, but that's the point. It's a lot different than Team Rocket. Team Rocket was, but the thing I like, my favorite arc probably though is the Gold, Silver, and Crystal arc. That arc got really deep and really dark.
Yeah.
Oh, especially
people
that
die in this run.
Yeah, and the ending though, it's
even though I think it's a little bit of a cop out. It was like I don't know if it was Gold, but the one where basically everyone dies at the end, and then Celebi just brings everyone back because he has like revival powers for some weird reason. That's just let everyone die. Just let everyone. No one cares about these jabronis. They're new jabronis.
Well, there was still one person technically died because he went back in time, but technically. But
so far the best team on this group is Team Skull, in my opinion. I just like the fact that they're just a bunch of arrogant douchebags. But at the same time, it's like, you know, they're just a bunch of outcasts that want to fit in, and you just kind of like, do I really want to punch them in the face? It's like, not really. I'll punch those galactic-looking dudes because they look douchey.
Yeah, they've got that weird haircut of the hoity-toity art people. You know?
They look like someone who probably passed due for ass whooping.
Oh, no, you remember Danny DeVito when he was like, crap, utter crap, and he's like, the air conditioner's like, this is gorgeous. The air conditioner.
It's literally that from Always Sunny.
I love that. But, Star Gang, the worst, yeah.
But yeah, we'll be doing a deeper dive into the manga because I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I just don't care about Ash Ketchum. I just think it's a jabroni in the grand scheme of things. So it's like the manga seems far more interesting than the animated series. I mean, I'm pretty sure Nerdigans knows about this. This is a character called Tobias, right? Who everyone in the thing hates because he's just some guy who showed up during the middle of the tournament, and apparently like all of his Pokemon were legendaries, but they didn't tell you like who all of them were. He shows up once, wins the tournament, he never hear from him again. So he was literally a plot device to keep Ash from winning the tournament. That was his entire existence to the point.
Yep, but that's not. Oh god, one of the best parts of Pokemon Adventures is when you get to see the gym leaders battle each other. That was so awesome.
Mm-hmm. What was that? The Kanto versus Johto thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah,
even like
there's
a Halloween one where there's like a dead Psyduck that's going to attack Red. You know, all the Pokemon are like, "No way!" And Bulbasaur is, of course, ready to fight because they're born ready that way.
Give me your top 5 Pokemon trainers based on the manga, Nerdigans.
Based on the manga. It's been a
Yeah.
minute. I need to finish catching up with XY.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to remember because it's been a long time. It's been like a few
It seems
years.
like if you're going on the grand scheme of things, like Red, Cynthia, and Leon would have to be top 3. Would you agree with that?
Red is definitely in my top 3 for sure, but Cynthia may.
I'm pretty sure
I
somebody.
think I do like here. I really like Black 2 though. When you get to Black and White 2, you'll understand why Black 2 is just awesome. Or hell,
Yeah, I haven't made it quite that far yet, but I'm almost there.
When you get to Black is awesome. Actually, I like Black a lot. Black is pretty bad.
Is this Cider's way of telling us to put the fries in the bag, bro? Is that what's happening right now?
No, I was just scrolling for something to show you guys, and I was like, "Oh, hey, that's cool."
It's fast food. Oh,
Yeah.
you guys have seen the Krabby Patty meals that have come out, right? Before
Sadly.
I forget.
Yeah.
The experience looked really cool going through the drive-through, but from what I've seen, but the meal itself, I don't know.
Well, one more thing about Pokemon before Spencer inevitably gets here, or not, who cares at this point. The one thing I've noticed is, like, I think it was immediately following, what is it, Hoenn, which is, I guess, what, Generation 3. Like, the whole concept of Pokemon early on was, hey, gotta catch them all, marketing technique, right? And then we stretched it out to a 250, and then they started going even further. That's why I jumped off like a long time ago. But then they decided at some point during that same time period, it was like, hey, you know what we need? We need more Pokemon lore. I got an idea. Let's start creating our own gods. Let's start creating Pokemon gods. And that became like a huge thing with, like, what was it? What was the Arceus and all the other ones that sprouted from like that thing. So they kind of created like this whole like Pokemon pagan universe after like Ruby and Gold, and I was like, what are we doing? Is this still?
Right.
Is it?
Spencer's here, and I want to wait to show everybody what he looks like before we start. Oh, wait! He wants to do a pokey joke.
One of the 5 best trainers alive. Red, 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 and red. Because it's hot fire. That's all I wanted to do before we got started.
That's probably more dated than the Pokemon reference.
I know. Yeah, probably.
Before I forget, because Spencer's here. Spencer, did you see the Metarots and Digimon collab?
Okay. Okay. Hold on. My mind is being blown right now, Nerdigans, because I saw art earlier this morning. Like, one of the Japanese artists I follow. Fan art of like Gomamon and Joe.
I saw that too.
Yeah, as what do you call it? Like
Metabee.
Metabee. And whatever that kid's name is. I always forget what it is. And I saw that art and I was like, oh, hey, that's really cool. Like, that's a really cool piece of art. That's so neat. I didn't think it was anything. And now you're telling me it's a real thing? It's a real thing?
Real quick before we get forward with the A+ show, now that me and Spencer are here, I just want to put over, since we're still kind of in like the Asian Tokyo hour here, there's a show on Netflix. Now, you guys know I don't watch too much Netflix because most of it is crap, but I've been trying to get into like K-dramas now because I'm thinking to myself, well, if all the American dramas are horrible, maybe there's a few K-dramas here that are decent. They're fairly hit and miss. Like, I'm not going to say all of them are winners. I mean, there's some are better than others. But there's a show called Culinary Class Wars on Netflix, and it's basically like Master Chef on steroids, and it's all about, the Korean like culinary culture. and stuff like that. So it's like they got everything set up like it's like a Mr. Beast YouTube video, and they got like all of these like hundreds of like cooks and chefs trying to like make dishes, and like for some weird reason like the judges are like blindfolded because they have to judge like the texture and the taste of the dish without seeing it or the chefs first. So it's like it's a little over the top and done, but I'm kind of into it now. I'm on episode 4. So
dude, that's always how it happens. When I was out in the Philippines last month and I was visiting my my stepmom, there's this Korean show called like The Young Lady and the Gentleman. It's one of these like K soap opera type things. You know, it has like 52 episodes. It has like, oh, they're in love, but he gets amnesia. Now she has him. Like, it's got all of that. And I like got addicted to it. I don't know what it was. I think it was the way the Koreans like shot it and framed it and everything. But I was like, I got to know the next episode. Does he confess? What's happening?
Yeah. Now that Spencer gets hooked on like the Filipino like version of like Passions. Just...
They look, the Philippines made their own like Power Ranger series called Voltes V. So I'm already halfway there.
But now that everyone's here, do you want to?
In the sky, you feel that heat, it's about to fly. This ain't just hoops, this your life on the line. We fighting for more than peace this time. And please don't give up on this, my valiant heart. In the face of fear, I promise I won't fall apart. Through the fire and the rain, for you I'll stand tall. Take my hand, and together we'll never fall.
Jeff was beginning to wonder, who are these people? Why were they the stars of every television show he tried watching? Did he eat edibles and forget? Forget what? Jeff asked, the British voice inside of his head. You'll find out, Jeff. You'll find out.
Can Simulu please, please, please go away? I don't know who I have to pay to make it happen, but let's make it happen.
Can't wait for Shang-Chi 2 when Shang-Chi beats up a 14-year-old girl for culture appropriating Hello Kitty.
Can parents come pick up their racist minors off of Twitter? It's really getting frustrating to deal with their bullying.
Don't I talk enough on YouTube? Why do I have to do this now? Gosh.
You set up the intros. You have to deal with the format now. That's on you.
Cider hates having to be creative every single week.
It's awful. I hate being creative, as you know. I hate it.
Yeah, he's definitely not like one of the most creative people I know who I'm talking to every day about him having new ideas about something. Definitely not that. Not our Cider.
Well, at least Cider doesn't have to be a glorified babysitter.
Well, okay. Well, hold on, Nerdigans. Hold that thought. First of all, welcome everybody. We are here. We are back for another episode of
Who are these people?
Stream, right? Who you just like Jeff? Who are these people? You must ask yourself. But it is us. It is me, Spencer. It is my good friends Jacob, Nerdigans, and Cider. And we are here to break down the week's biggest pop culture news stories. Obviously, you guys probably just got the big Japanese news stories from Tokyo Happy Hour, courtesy of Nerdigans and Cider. And now we are here to talk about all things terrible otherwise. I know we've got Shang-Chi. I know Cider has a bunch of other articles that are loaded up. I'm a little, I'm rushing to catch up on our docket tonight because obviously, as Cider let you guys know, I was working on an article before I jumped on. But more to the point, Nerdigans, you brought up in your intro, you were like, and right now you were like, can parents can pick up their kids from the internet? You know, we don't need babysitters. I've been thinking about this a lot. Do you remember? Well, I've been thinking about it a lot because, like you, Nerdigans, you and I talk about this all the time. We hate the fact that there are like teenagers on Twitter because, like, why are you in this conversation? You don't have opinions yet. Like, go away, right?
Can we reopen the Modern Warfare 2 servers just so these people have
they
something
would
else
cry.
to do?
They would all cry. Society, as we know it right now, would crumble. Right? These are the same kinds of kids who can't like order a pizza because they have like an anxious, nervous breakdown over talking on the phone, which is weird. But more to the point, Nerdigans, do you remember, and everybody actually, because we've all been around for this, remember when the internet did try to do like, here's Yahoo and Yahoo Kids. Here's like the WB website and the WB Kids websites. Like, can we segregate the internet again by age? Because the reason we know that the reason is like this now is because of advertising. Like big companies like Google and all this, they know that, oh, we can, if we let teenagers on these sites or whatever, we can advertise with them. We can make more money. But it's like everything is worse off for it. There is no advantage to having these teenagers, you know, talking in these discussions about what is supposed to be, you know, 18 plus, or what does this say about the world? Like, and I understand, I was a teenager once, we were all a teenager once, we have opinions, but you know what? As soon as I hit like 25, 26, I was like, dude, I was dumb. I was one of the dumbest people possible. I remember as a teenager, as like a 14-year-old, I bought the WMD propaganda for the, you know, the invasion of Iraq 100%, even though everybody now on every side of the political spectrum agrees that we were lied to and manipulated and deceived for, you know, the elite's agenda. I was one of those kids who's like, yeah, we got to get those bad guys. Who else is going to do it? And now I'm like, oh no. Can you imagine if I could have voted back then? I would have like, we would be in a like Blade Runner society at this point. So I bring back kid only spaces, or maybe not bring them back, but like shove the kids somewhere else. Make them go play Neopets.
Put the children in the McDonald's play place tubes and then seal it shut for 18 years. Okay, let them out.
If we're gonna do that, Cider, we might as well give them what the kids truly yearn for, and that's just to put them back in the mines. We'll put them in the mines.
Put them in the mines. Yeah,
for like 4 years.
You're right.
And then we'll come and we'll collect everything and we'll let them out.
Well,
I approve of this.
Well, there's a bigger problem. Well, there's a bigger problem is that parents aren't doing their jobs, for one thing.
They're not putting the children in the mines. You're right. Parents are not putting their children in mines.
You drive your kid down to the foreman's office and you say, put him in there.
This one doesn't need his broccoli. Guess what he gets to dig for? Boring. I don't even know what that is.
You don't eat vegetables? You're the first one down.
Well,
yeah, sorry, Nerdigans, go ahead.
No, seriously, like kids aren't going outside and playing anymore. Like growing up, we were in the like transition stage in the internet. Well, we were going outside and riding bikes and going to the park and all that, and still like hanging out at the mall with our friends. We don't have that anymore. And
well, hold on. I do want to say this. There is a growing movement among the alphas. Those are the kids that are in high school right now. Among the alphas that they're doing this thing called leaving the phone behind, disconnecting. They leave their phones with like their chaperone, and then they go out and they like paint murals on rocks and shit at parks, and they play music on instruments provided to them by their chaperone from the school or whatever. and they go out and clean up trash, and they just go out and just hang out being teenagers supervised by an adult, either one of the parents or somebody from the school, and they're not on their cell phones for like 7 or 8 hours, from the time they get
I
out of
actually
school
like
to the time of their curfew
good.
ends. Yeah,
That's
and the kids are saying that they prefer this because Zuckerberg tried to fight a study coming out a couple of years ago that found that like from 13 to 18, the suicide rate skyrocketed after
I'm
Facebook showed up.
sure. I am
And
sure.
so
Oh yeah.
the kids said that they were not feeling like they were, I wouldn't say suicidal, but they were describing basically they didn't feel like they were left alone anymore,
Right.
that they were alone in the world anymore. So that as we're talking about these children having these outbreaks on Twitter and whatnot to describe their hatred of Genshin Impact and Splatoon skin color that are not correct, right? We have to remember that this is coming from a person who most likely spends 18 hours a day on the phone when they're not engaged in school, either half paying attention or otherwise not engrossed in their education. So
No, that's 100. That is.
That's a good thing.
I love that idea. Here's my cynical oh man, this is why it's gonna fail, is because that's a great idea. We should all want to do that. But I also know you guys have probably seen this too at in our generations. I know at least there's been a couple times where there's been a push to all right, everybody, just Fridays, leave your phones down or whatever. We tried it at college once.
Phone down Friday,
friends. Yeah, exactly. I tried it at my last corporate workplace before I came to Bounding, and it always starts off great. And everybody always goes yes, we love this. This is so much better. But then what always happens is one person, finds an excuse. They either go, oh, what's the big deal? I'm just going to check a tweet. Or, oh, I need to text my husband real quick or whatever, right? And that starts the cascading, because in America, we're so individualist. It starts that cascade of oh, well, I can just get back on my phone too. I can get back. And then everybody's there again, right? So it's we need more willpower. We need more willpower. And yeah, but I think that's a great idea. I hate being on my phone. When I work, actually, I kind of just toss my phone to the side. I can if you need to contact me, I'm right here on Discord. I'm on Slack. The guys here on the site, everybody can reach me. I have a watch on, so if there's a phone call, oh, look, somebody's calling. But I don't want to look at all my Twitter notifications, Discord notifications, all that stuff. Just it's anxiety inducing. It honestly is, for lack of a better term.
That's the same thing for me, though. It's the same thing for me. If I'm trying to write an article, or if I'm, recording content, because my Twitter notifications just have been exploding so much lately.
Well, especially you. Yeah, you're the one getting into everything in a good way. I'm not making fun of you. I'm saying
I know, but because I have to record so much content, I have to close my Twitter, because otherwise, because I have horrible ADHD, I get so distracted. I close everything and I just focus. It's so much better for me to focus on what I need to do, and I get everything done right away.
Well, when I type my reviews, I just put in the B-52s and just start typing away.
Ding, 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 ding. How do you do typing away? I know you use speech to text. Don't lie to the good people.
Sometimes I type.
Sometimes when he has to put his name on it, that's when he'll use typing.
Yeah, right. Or spell check.
But I will say this though, it gets really frustrating sometimes, because I have to go through tweets, obviously, especially in the case of the Splatoon situation. I'm trying to find one specific thing, I'm trying to find a couple death threats, and I'm hoping they just didn't get deleted already, via TOS violations.
Oh, I thought you were going to be I really hope they're there, and I'm
I there's more.
Yeah, I was
I was hoping they were there, so I could at least get still there, so I could at least grab them for the article.
Hey guys, if you're gonna make death threats, just let Nerdigans know so she can screen cap it. Then you're free to delete it after that. But just let her know ahead of time, okay?
I wanted to have them for the
Felt
article.
cute, might delete later.
Well, you know what I mean.
Thank you for your contribution.
You know what I mean. I just wanted to have it for the article, but
yes.
No, I know.
But it just gets really distracting, because I see there's 60 notifications, there's 100 notifications. Can I just have a 5 minutes to get something done?
No.
Come on.
No, absolutely not. Not at all. You have to do it all right then and right there. That's So since I'm like Nerdigans, you're over with me too, but since Nerdigans and I are in the West Coast, at least in my capacity as editor in chief, like when I wake up at a normal time, like 7 o'clock, 7:30, 8 a.m., I wake up and I see like Slack has 30 messages, and I'm like, what is happening? Oh my God.
I'm 29 of them.
Always. It's you and me. It's like you picking up a conversation we had and like us talking, and then it's maybe like Jacob making a joke, and then one of our writers being like, hey, is this a good tip? Like not pressing at all, but that's what it always feels like when I wake up and I'm like, oh no, the world's on fire.
Turn on the TV, any TV,
any channel.
That's what it feels like with Twitter at times when I look at it like first thing in the morning. But then I have my cat who meows at me and wants to play fetch like right after. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I can't look at my phone now. I got to play fetch with the kitty.
No, get him one of those like auto toys that like the mouses that you wind up from the 1920s, because that's my clear frame of reference is Fievel. So like get one of those and let it chase around.
Look, if you want to get your cat some exercise, what you do is you get a pit bull and you let them like chase each other around the yard for a couple of hours. Then he'll get all the exercise he needs at that point.
That's so mean.
You're muted.
Yeah, you're muted, Spencer.
Yeah, I'm muted. Did you see the pit bulls who tore up that car?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there's a crazy video.
Look, I know some dog people out there gonna be like, no, it's all about the owner. Yeah, like pit bulls are not natural breeds, which probably explains why they're more prone to like psychotic acts of rage than like any other dog brand in existence. So it's like if you're a person, especially if you're a woman who has like multiple pet bulls and you want to be like, oh, I'm a good dog mom, it's like you're setting yourself up for the inevitable. That's all I'm gonna say there.
If you're gonna be like a pity dog mom, maybe don't also be like a real human mom, because
exactly
in those situations.
Dude, there was a story. Well, it was horrific, looting like 2 weeks ago on the New York Post about two pit bulls who literally ripped down a door, like a full door, ripped it down just so they can get to a small 1-year-old child and rip it apart. That's how bad like I say, those things are not natural breeds. It's like they're not your little Labrador retrievers or you're like no, just stop.
Like I'm one of those. Or no, never mind. Let's keep going.
Put it this way, to wrap this up before they probably kill more people than tigers in this country. That should be concerning to a lot of people. But go on to your point.
The other point is that it should be concerning that we have tigers here. Texas. No, I shit you not. Texas. What? There's been so many tigers that got loose. There's actually a breed of Texas tiger now because so many of them got loose and had babies. And
all the stupid idiots with like oil money thought that, I'm gonna get a tiger as a pet because I got money, and then they got loose and now they can't find him anymore, so they're just out in the wild somewhere in the desert
having babies.
I genuinely didn't know this. This is
Texas tigers. Yes, yep, they're real. Yes, that's a real thing. Speaking of random acts of violence, though, Netflix's Tomb Raider: Legend of Lara Croft makes a change to franchise mainstay Zip and depicts him as a stereotypically gay man.
Like all the
he turned him into Billy Porter.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yes, that's so perfect. I can't believe it took me this long to like make that Billy Porter connection. This is why I love Jacob. Like that's exactly what it is. So yes, earlier or last weekend, last Friday, the new Netflix anime, right? I hate that Netflix keeps calling all their, it's not even Netflix. A lot of Western companies are like, this is an anime, and it's like no Japanese people are involved in this at like any stage of this. How is this anime at all, right? Like, does that bother you, Nerdigans? I know it bothers me.
Yeah, it bothers me.
You're the way more anime purist.
It's like it's faux anime. Like I know Japanese. But Japanese people make fun of, I saw this on Together, which is a Japanese forum. They make fun of Avatar. They posted like a thread about like how they were making fun of Avatar.
The Last Airbender?
Yeah, people were calling Avatar The Last Airbender, like anime, quote unquote. They're like, no, that's not like anything close to being anime.
What they're doing is the thing that like we all call them out on this all the time, all four of us. It's like they know that their product sucks, but they're trying to attach it to something else. So you go, oh yeah, this is anime. This is automatically good. And, unfortunately, guys, like the way people work, some people see that word anime and their brains will will like flip over, right, and go anime. I can be more behind that than if it was a animated series. That's what they're banking on. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody has their preferences, everybody has their tastes, but that's what they're banking on with the popularity of anime and all that stuff. So this series came out. It is very, 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 very bad. First of all, the animation is very stiff. It's very ugly. It's just completely boring. The story itself it's so weird because, like, do you remember? All right, everybody here remembers 90s Lara Croft. She was a badass. The first time you see Laura in the games, like, she's about to go into a temple by herself. She opens a door and a bunch of wolves run out at her. She immediately like backflips, draws her guns, and puts them down. And then the camera does the cool like character hero shot over her, and she's ready to go. And you go into the cavern and the mountain, and you start Tomb Raider. That, and like, she was always shown as sort of like this femme fatale, really strong in the real sense of that term, like a real strong female character with an actual character. And nowadays they're like, oh, we need to make her more complex. So now, like, Laura cries all the time. She relies on everybody else. It's really ironic because if anybody here played the Survivor trilogy of Tomb Raider games, which is the most recent one from Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix, the reboot, I played the first one. I'm not really a fan of it because I don't like that type of Sony, what do you call it? Like interactive movie style of game. Like, I'm just not a fan of that. And I also think, and this is coming from me, there's like a lot of scenes in these Tomb Raider Survivor games that show Laura dying, right? And it's like, oh man, that's pretty gruesome. And obviously you go back to the checkpoint, but all of these cutscenes are like really, really so brutal that you get to the point where you're like, is somebody getting off to this? Like, this is really, really uncomfortable. Like, this is over the top. So I never checked out those games, or I never was a fan of those games, but this series is a direct continuation of that storyline. So there's a character in that story named Jonah, and he's kind of Laura's like best friend, her pilot, her man in the chair, if you will, in the video games. And there are like multiple, again, we want a strong female character. There are multiple times in this show where she has to be rescued by him. Like, and it's not even in ways where, you know, our like SJWs or whatever would go, oh, look at that. It's parts where we're going like, why is he even, like, our side would be like, why is he here? This is like, Laura could do this. What are we doing here? So completely terribly written, completely bad. Like, it's just not a good effort. No amount of wrapping it up in IP would have made this a good story at all. So more to the point, one of the most egregious elements, at least one of the ones I found, was this change to zip. Now, if you guys played the old games, you know, the old like original Lara Croft series and the Legends series, Zip was in both of those games, and he was just a black guy. He's got dreads. He's actually his backstory is that he's a super intelligent computers expert who was hired by one of the world's like biggest companies. Imagine if somebody like Amazon, right? Or actually probably better than that, something like Lockheed Martin. So he like works at like the in-game equivalent of that. And after his bosses like sort of jerk him around and don't promote him and all this stuff, Laura reaches out to him and is like, do you want to help me? And he's like, hell yeah, let's take them down. Like, I hate those bastards. And he's a straight character. He's just a guy. Like, I can't make any quirky descriptions about him because he's just a dude, like in the best sense of the term. Like, he's hanging out, he gives Laura advice, he has his own personality and quips, but he's not like, oh, he's got this special status or that special status. Like, he's just sort of there. And in the cartoon, in this new animated series, Netflixed it up, and they made him into literally the most stereotypical like black gay guy you possibly could. So obviously, you see his design right here. If you want to scroll down real quick, Cider, there is a video game screenshot of him. Oh, he might not be here. He might be.
No, I'm here.
Oh, no, he's here.
I'm here.
Okay,
Right
yeah,
here?
there he is. Yeah. So like, look at him. That's what Zip looked like. So he's like this very masculine. He's muscular. This is what Zip was like before. Now he's Billy Porter. He's got the very effeminate, very thin look, very thin frame, that weird, like, it's not even like locks, Jacob. What would you call this hairstyle? Like, what are we? It's like 4
Well,
locks.
I don't know if I can tell you what I call this hairstyle on YouTube. Let me just. It's the feminized Killmonger is probably the best way I can describe it. So.
Yes, that's actually the best. That is perfect. So yeah, he gets this feminized Killmonger look. He paints his nails all the time.
Oh,
Like
that
that's
was
sort of
awful.
Mm-hmm.
like that's what sort of got me.
Hey,
like,
girl.
Yeah, that is what he acts like too. That was the part where I was like, there is absolutely no
Lord,
way
baby, you gotta loosen up. All this Tomb Raider is gonna put
in all
wrinkles
honesty,
under your eyes.
In all honesty, you
what
might
I'm
as well
saying
just
there.
had RuPaul voice the character at that
Right?
point.
Having RuPaul in here would have probably been like less stereotypical.
Probably
than
more
this
people would have
character.
watched it.
Yeah, people would have actually tuned in for this. Like that, the jokes you were just making, Cider, about like, oh girl, you gotta lighten up. That's how he talks. Like, not even joking. That's the part where I was like, there's no way. He talks
Marlon
about, like,
Wayans, black
"Oh,
gay
girl."
guy, is how he talks?
Yes.
No.
That screenshot you were just on a second ago, where Laura's
Wow.
on like tapping her headset. She's in the middle of this like recon mission, and she's talking to Zip, and she mentions that she's with Camilla, who's the girl in the background, and Zip out of nowhere just goes like, "Oh, you're with her? Girl, tell her I love her hair." And I'm like, what the hell are we doing here? Like, this feels offensive in 1992. Like, and this is what the progressives are saying. Like, this is good.
Women,
Like,
huh?
It really is that. By the way, for those, like, I don't know where else to interject this information, but everybody should be made aware of this. This series was written and created by a woman by the name of Tasha Huo, Huo, and she was a staff writer on that awful what was it called? The Witcher Blood Origins, was that like the weird original series they did that was all about like, oh look, this guy's gay, that guy's short, whatever. Yeah, that series, she was one of the main writers on that. She's also been tapped, or she wrote the very first script treatment of the live action Naruto movie that's coming. So buckle up for that. It's currently, that was the first draft. I think they're having it go through like production and edits and all that stuff, but I think they're still using it as the base. So buckle up for that. And that's also, speaking of Shang-Chi, that's going to be directed by the Shang-Chi director. But so one of the things I wanted to bring up was this. So when I wrote this article, we put it on Twitter. That tweet exploded. We have I think we're at like 2 million views on that tweet, right? Like as of this show right now when I'm talking to you. And one thing I really noticed, and I'm bringing this up because it's not like, this is what I noticed from our replies and in the comments. A lot of black guys were like, I'm sick of this. Of course, they feminize the only black guy. Like, this is what they keep doing.
They call it buck breaking.
Yes, they do. The Tariq, right? That's him, right? It was Tariq's.
Yeah, Tariq.
Tariq's documentary. Yeah, I just think of that really bad picture of him where like his suit isn't like fitting right, and he's like.
Or that time he opened up the Black History Museum and it was just like a warehouse with some weird booths.
Tariq Nasheed is the grift that keeps on giving, if we will.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like we had so many comments about like, this is buck breaking, this is awful, and like it is, like there's no way around it.
It's because white lesbian liberals in Hollywood have this fetish of like the gay best friend in their like circle or whatever it is, right? So it's like in their minds, it's just like, every black guy I know is like a gay hairdresser, and that's basically what we're portraying here in every single show they're involved with.
Well, it's like it's that mentality, and then I also think it's this weird like Hollywood racism, because like you get characters like that, but then I've also talked with I have a buddy of mine who I always talk about, like when they race swap or they introduce new black characters, like they're always the same type of black guy. They're always like the Miles Morales, Steve Urkel. That's the only type of like black guy character you're ever
if they're not offensively gay, then you have like the Justice Smith. Those like your two xenotypes of black men.
Right, exactly. And I'm just like, this has to feel patronizing to like black men, and clearly it is, because they were not happy about this move. Like they were really pissed off. So yeah, this is what Netflix does, right? They gay everything up. They try to say, oh, look at how progressive we are, and they end up making like the most offensive thing possible to anyone outside of like your weird group of 5 women who go to the same Starbucks on every lunch break. Like those are the only people who get what you're doing here. Everybody else is like, this is trash. This is garbage. We don't have any like ratings yet for this, but I can't imagine they're going to be good. I haven't even seen like our sphere tearing it apart. When people in our sphere don't make videos about something, that's when you know something is actually
It's just dead. Yeah, it's dead. Yeah,
right.
It's
Like,
over.
who's talking about Agatha? Nobody. Our friend of the
It's like,
channel.
oh my god, they brought in Wicked. Isn't this amazing? And everyone's like, who?
Dude, okay, like even hardcore. So like that sort of the crowd that Agatha is supposedly trying to appeal to, which is like that younger, more like slice of life loving comic book fans. You know, they love their representation.
I thought they were just like
Idiots.
placating the lesbians, like just like lesbians who are also in the Wicca. I thought that was their key demographic.
When we bring in lesbians, that's a complete like the Venn diagram is complete, so that's implied there, right? But like, so my sister is closer to that sort of demographic than obviously any of us are, and that's not to say she's full blown into it, but like she cares about. She likes when representation happens. She likes the younger characters, whatever. Wiccan,
yeah, I think you mentioned she was Jewish.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that's how we all have to do it, right? But so her favorite character has always been Wiccan since like 2006 when he was introduced, and she saw this kid revealed as Wiccan. She's been mad for like a week. I can get her to like stomp out of the room if I just bring him up, and she'll be like, ugh, and she'll like leave, and so. Nobody is hitting with.
She should just text her. That's what you get. That's what you get.
I do that. I've texted. I've taken like the screenshots of them, and I text her at like 2 a.m. and I'm like, this is on you. You caused this. But yeah, like this is all these attempts at representation at whatever always end up being weirdly the most like stereotypically offensive things of all time, and it's hilarious every time. Right, because this is the stuff they claim that all the stuff we enjoyed was offensive, but I've never seen a treatment like this, like taking strong buck breaking. Like I've never seen such a consistent buck breaking from the people who claim that they're supposed to be on like black people's side. It's insane.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say this about that whole two types of character. Go ahead.
No, you make your point, and I'll go since you're
well,
there.
I just want to go back because again. I want to say this, that the famous Jet Jackson as a character was
Rest
probably
in peace,
the most...
Cyborg!
Yeah, well, apart from the actor, the character himself in that show was probably the most balanced black character of my youth. Even Static Shock leaned into life's hard on the streets. But the famous Jet Jackson was all about a kid going through high school that was a famous actor and had to balance that life. And that was it. There was no crime on the side. There was no, hey, man, you got a deadbeat dad that isn't there for you. There wasn't any Will Smith hugging his uncle crying situation. It was a pretty normal home. Mom and dad were divorced, but it was a pretty normal setting. He was getting on okay. The only thing that was really a big problem in his life is he had a crush on his co-star and he wasn't able to communicate it. That was pretty much the hardest thing about his life. And I really appreciated that. I appreciated Up, Up, and Away because Up, Up, and Away wasn't like, you want to hang out with some black superheroes? We got that guy from that show. You remember Moving On Up? We put him in some spandex. No, that's stupid. They didn't do that. They were like, this is a group of superheroes who are a family who so happen to be black. And they left that away. That was it. That was the end of it. The craziest it got was when Grandpa showed up and they had that weird "my back hurts, I can't fly" scene. And that was like the most out of it got for me because I was like, that's weird that he can't fly because his back hurts. But
like, what does that even mean? You're basically
you think it would be opposite, right? You know, it'd be like, oh, my back feels great now that I don't have gravity down working against it, you know? But there again, now today, I defy you. You cannot make, even with Anthony Mackie, who doesn't really present himself as like, I'm Black Jesus, you know? He doesn't present himself as like the superior black man, if you will. He's just kind of like on the threshold of that SJW politics stuff. He's in it, but he's like on the threshold of it. He couldn't do a famous Jet Jackson follow-up movie about what Jet's life would be as an adult. He couldn't do it. He couldn't do an Up, Up, and Away movie about that character being an adult now. He couldn't handle that because the politics involved in that would not allow that story to be told the way it was originally. That's why Sky High will suck when they come up with a sequel, because it'll have nothing to do.
They're doing that, aren't they? I feel like they've announced
There's
that.
there was talk about it. It was right before the RoboCop TV show announcement came out that they were talking about doing a sequel, like continuation of Sky High, how everybody is now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that. The only reason, like, I don't know. The only reason I think I would ever want to see a Sky High sequel is just sort of to see Danielle Panabaker come back, because I think it's funny that she had that like really minor role in Sky High at first, and then she went on to be like Killer Frost. So that would just be like, hey, that's neat, but that's not enough to make a movie or do a project. It's just like that would be a neat thing. You know what I mean?
That will be a thing that certainly happened once.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of, it's like, oh, hey, neat. Bender.
Yeah, right.
To this, though, about the black characters, there's only two that I've ever noticed. There's the black characters, the black gay guy, and then there's black tech guy. Those are the only two that I've ever noticed. There's even, look, this is why they got rid of Terrence Howard, in my opinion. It's because Terrence Howard was a masculine black man. From any angle, that guy looks large and in charge. He looks like a guy that belongs in that suit. You slap Don Cheadle in it, he's a clown. You don't, Don Cheadle is a scarecrow in that suit. He does not look anything like any type of decorated military man. He looks like a guy that they slapped in that suit that they found in the back with the cook.
I muted myself there. I agree with you on like the disparity, but I will push back. I do know at least the reported reason why they didn't bring Terrence Howard back, and that's because he was the highest paid actor for that movie by like millions. And they were like, no, we don't need to do that. No.
Which is kind of shitty when you think about it.
Their budget, I know.
When it's shitty when you think about it, because it's like, you know, he was a big part of like their pitch for the original Iron Man movie that kind of launched the whole MCU. And keep in mind, because he was higher paid because Robert Downey Jr. at the time was considered a risk, right? So it was like, hey, let's use the star power of Terrence Howard to kind of elevate this, and hopefully people accept Robert Downey Jr., which is exactly what happened. And then there was like, oh, okay, we got Robert Downey Jr. now. We don't need you anymore. We're going to replace you with Don Cheadle, who's going to work for far less money than you will. So
and Don Cheadle, non-threatening black character.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there you go. Those are the only two.
I mean, Terrence Howard literally went on off of, like, he went from that to do Empire, didn't he? And in Empire, he's like a bastard character, like a really scary, like, crime boss type of character. Like
Lucius Fox,
a real son of a bitch, is what I say.
That's the right way to put it.
You got Lucius Fox as the black tech guy. You got, of course, Miles Morales has a tech background.
Lucius has been doing that for a while.
I get that. I get that, but when they go and they create that now, that's the template that they create. So rather than elevating Lucius into any other position, they decide to leave him there and make him the super smart, you know.
Well, the problem is, go ahead.
Yeah, and that's what I'm getting at, though, is that it's not necessarily that Lucius is wrong, but that he falls into that stereotype they've created now. It's like previous gay characters are now lumped in with modern gay characters because they've done this.
I would push back against that lumping in, because I sort of think it's like condescending to the writers who came before who weren't trying to do that. I think we can look at these characters and go like, Lucius was the template, yes, but then to go, Lucius is also one of these kinds of characters is going, that's not what he was created.
How about his son then? Signal.
That's not his son, but Luke Fox, his son.
Oh, sorry. Batwing.
Right.
That's when he
right there, that's an actual example of it, right? Where it's like, oh, what do we do? Tech-based black hero. I mean, you either get tech or you get lightning. That's the rule. And
isn't that annoying? You know, even when I created Hypercussion, I was a little like, fast black guy. I wonder how many people are gonna like think something about me because of that, So you know, and that's
another one. This you just remind me of another one of those like we're so progressive, but actually look how stereotypically racist we are. Remember The Boys? They're like,
Yep.
oh, here's the 7. Who should we race swap? The only character whose defining trait is runs fast. Like, are you kidding me, guys? Like,
let's do
like,
coked up Usain Bolt.
That's what it was, and I was just like, come on, guys, come on.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
and that's
hold on. Remember what happened with Snake Eyes? They race swapped him to be Asian because
they couldn't
Martial
deal with the
arts.
guy that knows how to be a ninja and looks like me. They couldn't
That's the
handle
thing.
that.
They did that to Shang-Chi in the comic, or not Shang-Chi, Iron Fist in the comics. After everybody on Twitter like lost their minds, like, why is a white guy the champion of an Asian country? They actually went, oh, you're right. You know what? To make everything correct, we're going to turn the kung fu wielding mystic like fighter into an Asian guy. Aren't you guys all happy now? And that's what like that jackass Simu Liu was doing too. He was like, I'm here. I'm finally breaking out for Asians because I'm in the Marvel universe now. And it's like, dude,
he might as well have just
kung
like
fu guy. Like you're just playing kung fu guy number 7.
He might as well have just stood up and be like superhero pose.
Honestly, at this point, that guy is. I hate the jackass. We'll probably get to him, but
we are here
right
now.
Let's talk about this rice-a-roni jabroni over here.
Yeah,
You want to take the lead on this one, Spencer?
Hell yeah, I want to take the lead on this one. So this was actually a funny way that I came across the story. So I actually learned about the initial incident when it happened, but I learned about it like later in the day. So I didn't cover it because I was like, well, the big news places already have it, you know, Deadline, Hollywood Reporter, and you know, a little bit behind the curtain here, guys, because of the way SEO works and we're all fighting for, you know, search engine results. Timing is everything. So if they're out like 8 hours before us, unless there's a unique spin we can put on it, like nobody's going to see our article on it. So that's why you might see things not covered, even though they're really important. But so I saw that initial one and I was like, it's too late, but let me look. And I went, oh my God, like I don't even want to engage. Like I hate him. I watched like the 1 minute segment and then I was like, I want him to go away. Then he came back last night and I'm sitting here, I'm watching Jacob on the Barroom podcast. And literally as the show is wrapping at the exact, like simultaneously, Jacob sends me a message and says, hey buddy, your boy's at it again. Like, do you want to cover it? And person in our sphere, my friend Marvin the Movie Monster, he tagged me on Twitter and was like, uh-oh, look whose favorite is back. And like I was like, do I really want to engage? Do I really want to? No, it was like midnight by the time I finally got my plate cleared to look at it, and I went, it's late, I'll do it tomorrow. I clicked on Jacob's link. I watched like the first 3 seconds, and like a red lantern, like the fire just like built in me, and I was like, no, I'm staying up. We are taking this asshole down because if you watch the show, you know this is probably the person I hate in Hollywood the most. He's just the biggest, most pompous, like up his own butt jackass of all time. Like he literally thinks he's God's gift to Asians, and not just Asians, but like he thinks he's God's gift to Hollywood, to progressives, to Canadians. Like you were in one sitcom and a really, really shitty Marvel movie. Chill the fuck out. You are not anybody. Like I have friends, you know, from growing up in California who work in the entertainment industry and have encountered and done regular work with Simu. Nobody likes him. The word I always hear is smarmy. Everybody thinks he's just like a smarmy fake, just like, here he is. Like he's here to suck himself off.
Gigantic ass clown.
That is like, there is no term me or Jacob could level out here that I think would be wrong. Just like this man is the worst. So we all remember, and just in case you guys don't remember, this is the same guy who, like I was saying, came out and said, I've been cast in Shang-Chi. I'm, you know, thankfully now I can be representation for Asians. Now Asians know they can, you know, have real roles. And it's like, dude, Jackie Chan, Donnie Yen, all these guys like Jet Li were way before you. And they also did roles that were not, I'm stereotypical Chinese Kung Fu man. Look, I like Shang-Chi, don't get me wrong, but if you're going to go, look, we're breaking the paradigm and we're, you know, changing how people think about things, throwing them into that stereotype does not really help at all, right? Like at the very least, at least Black Panther was like, yeah, they're in Africa, but they're at least like advanced Africa. They did that. Didn't even get...
Yeah, they don't hang out with those milk farmers 10 feet from the shield that protects them from the Wakandans.
Dude, no. They actually addressed that in the new Ultimate series, which is really bad, and I'm only reading it because it's free.
What a surprise! It's bad.
Yeah, it's super bad. It's basically just
Super bad.
if you it's a good movie, but if you watched the MCU Black Panther movies, it's literally just that. But they do have a dialogue where like Black Panther's like close up the gates, and Shuri's like, what about that? There's like a farmer right there where it's gonna go. What are you gonna do to him? And he's like, if he gets caught in it, capture and kill him. If not, all right. And I'm just like, this isn't really working out great, Wakanda. Like you're not putting your best foot forward here. But
no, and that's the problem with Simu Liu's approach here. Is he's gone and swallowed all of that Chinese superiority stuff coming out of Xi Jinping thought. So,
and he's not even like his parents were from China. He is he was born and raised in Canada. For those of you who don't know this fact, like I know everybody on the panel here does, there is this huge tendency in Asian families where like if like first generation kids from immigrants, they get on the dumbest like nationalist pride shit for no reason, and like they don't even engage with it. And then you go to like their parents, and they're like, I hate China. What are you talking about? We're here for a reason.
It's like not only that, but it's like this whole argument that he brought up here on this stupid show is like, oh, I'm standing up for the people of Taiwan. It's like, oh, you mean the same people that China doesn't even recognize as a country?
Right.
It's like you're more worried about their stupid beverage about how about them actually being identified as a country separate from China. How about that?
Exactly. It's all performative. So there's more to get into. I know Jacob and I will have more, but let's give everybody context by getting into this specific story.
Well, let me point one thing out here. I scrolled down to this picture in particular.
Please.
If you take a look at how Simu Liu is styled here, I can't find the picture right now because I don't know the name of it. And for whatever reason, when I search these two names together, that picture I'm looking for isn't coming up. But there was a picture of Chairman Mao and Xi Jinping in a group photo together with other Chairman Mao thought groupies, I guess.
Like supporters, yeah.
And Shang-Chi, as Simu Liu is styled here, looks like Xi Jinping minus 20 pounds at that time. And this is an idealized version. And I have a feeling that when Shang-Chi did money, right? And then, of course, they did money when it went over and was in China, and it was received well over there, well enough. And I have a feeling that Xi Jinping actually either called him or had some type of correspondence with him, either through like various vassals or whatever, to say, I really appreciated this. This was fantastic. China owes you a debt, that kind of thing. Because that usually is what spurs these guys on in Hollywood, is when some ass, look at Rodman. What the hell is he hanging out with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, other than Kim Jong-un is sucking his dick? Maybe not in reality, but he's blowing him up,
No, like I agree with that, but I think I disagree because I actually think it's a little more sinister than that. I don't even think that it was like Xi going, get me a direct line. I want to make this change. I think this might have just come from Disney being like, how do we curry favor with him? Right? Like, how
do we get favor with Xi Jinping? Go find me an Asian that looks like Xi Jinping.
Hey man, I'm going down that rabbit hole. That's what I fully believe.
And they found this guy.
They found the worst person absolutely possible.
Did they though? Did they? When you know what Xi Jinping is, did they?
Look, I just saw this post by Nina Infinity because I had to post something to the Bounding Twitter. But she has a tweet up that has a picture of Amanda Stenberg, Rachel Zegler, and Simu Liu, and it says, "Who's more cringe?" And I'm like, it's Simu. Like I know those other two are annoying, but it's 100% Simu for some like. Maybe
well, he knows better. He knows better, and that's why those other two they don't.
Yeah, he's become the male Brie Larson, but even worse than Brie Larson.
Yes, that's true.
Yes, no, that's 100%. Like
I think I saw that post today, Jacob, that somebody said that Simu Liu has officially become worse than Brie Larson. Like, why is he so worse though?
So he's so worse because of a lot of things, but it's mostly his own ego, as we will get into here. Cider, before we dive in, are we going to play the clips, or is that going to get us dinged? Do you know?
It will most
I
likely.
played.
So
I played it last night. Didn't get dinged. So
It
I mean,
didn't,
just
okay.
from the actual like show, like we played the whole thing and it didn't get popped.
Okay.
So
okay.
Okay, so I'll leave it up to Ciders. I was just asking because that'll determine how I set this up.
Do you want to play that now, or do you want to set it up?
Yeah, let me set it up. I'll set up all the clips and go through it. I just wanted to make sure that's what we were doing. Okay, so basically, last week there was a new episode of the Canadian version of the show Dragon's Den. Now, if you guys don't know what Dragon's Den is, it is the original version of Shark Tank, which is where fledgling businesses can go up to a panel of very famous venture capitalists. Normally people you would know rather than like randos, because it's TV. You want celebrity, and they pitch their business, and that the celebrity venture capitalists have the opportunity to invest and all that sort of fun stuff. It's actually a fun show. Like, I like watching it, but I digress. So on the Canadian version of Dragon's Den last week, they had Simu Liu come on as a guest dragon and they all the versions do this very regularly. They'll bring on like, oh, here's this guy here's a celebrity who started their own company and they want to invest. It's very common, but they had Simu on, and one of the products that came up was it's basically bottled bubble tea, boba, for those of you who don't know, right? It's the Asian Taiwan milk tea with sugar in it. It's pretty good. I don't like the tapioca balls. I know a lot of people do, but the tea itself is pretty damn delicious.
That's right. You don't like balls.
No balls in my mouth at any time.
There we go. All right.
No Diddy party over here.
Exactly.
No freak offs on the O.R.C.A. Absolutely none. But So yeah, it's a bubble tea company that basically does bottled boba that you could buy at whatever store. They sell regular flavors and they also sell alcoholic flavors. They've been around for, I think, like a year or two now, and they went on the show looking for investors. Now, eventually we got to Simu Liu, and I'll let Cider take it from here with the clip, because really me summarizing this isn't going to do it justice. So
no, you have to hear how big of a douchebag this guy truly is. Cider.
And I am looking.
Okay, I'm sorry.
There was clearly a lag. There was clearly a lag on like StreamYard's part, because it was already like 4 seconds into the video.
Yep.
I am studying your can, and I am looking for anything that tells me where boba came from. And where boba came from is Taiwan. I started this venture company for a lot of reasons, but really primarily to uplift minority entrepreneurs. And
I'm going to assume because you're not black or Asian that you are not a minority.
Not only do I feel like
when we get to his response, he actually gets like condescendingly racist again, like unironically. It's bizarre, but we'll keep going.
This is not happening here, but that I would be uplifting a business that is profiting off of something that feels so dear to my cultural heritage.
Hit that right there. Can you pause that? I want everybody to know right now that boba comes from Taiwan, like Jacob said, not China.
Not Canada.
Not Canada. It was also it came into being due to the Dutch colonization of China, bringing, sugar and tea into the country. That's how it got into the country. That's how they started, experimenting with it. Boba's only 20 years old, a 20-year-old drink. We are all older than boba on this panel. Shut the hell up, see. Like, this is why I keep doing this.
You see, back in the ancient jungle of Wakanda,
we had special drink. Mystic ball. You put mystic ball in drink.
Cultural heritage. Look, I paused it right there.
By the way,
the most Asian face. Cultural heritage.
Emotional damage.
With the jacket on, he totally looks like him.
I just want to point out that I was right about Canada this whole time. They literally are just the worst country like on earth. Like literally the worst.
I've been adopting your slogan. Like when I go on Tooneytown or that game place or on my own show, I'm like, we have built the border on the wrong, or we have built the wall on the wrong border. We need to stop the Canadians from coming in. I'm done with this.
Heritage.
Yeah, keep going.
I want to be a part of bringing boba to the masses, but not like this. So for that reason, I'm out.
Thanks.
Respect that. Right here.
Respect that.
Right here. So, first of all, like I was saying, all he's doing right here, this is like the most condescending.
It's theater.
Self-serve. Yeah, it's theater. He's performing for all the people he knows will go, cultural appropriation. Good job, man. Thank you for like that's
He said the buzzword.
right. That's exactly what it is. He's not. There's no genuine anything here. He's just trying to use it as a platform, and you can see that by what happens next, because this next part is absolutely incredible. Because after this entire exchange, the dragon in the pink dress, the woman who they kept cutting back to, she just blows his argument away just in the most simple terms. She's not even like combative or over the top. She's just, you'll see.
Makes me sad how successful this business is. It makes me sad that people are, they're drinking boba with the raccoon with the sun.
It doesn't mean that they don't have the opportunity to change and do that.
That's true, but there has to be a willingness, and I have to be able to invest in these founders knowing that, that change is possible.
Do you see how quickly he invented fake enemies that were not in the room there, and then just told everybody that that's
like,
what?
Well, this guy wasn't willing to make that
He was
change, so that's why
fighting
we're
me on a
rejecting.
stupid raccoon. Did you see that? Just immediately, it was a fight for life and
The
death.
poor guy was literally like sitting there, like, "What is he talking about? What?"
If you watch, like I tracked down the full thing. The guys, like the business owners, are just like, okay, like they're not fighting. They're listening to the person they're trying to elicit an investment from. Like they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. The other thing right there, Cider, that I wanted to point out is like, honestly, fuck this guy. He starts off with, it makes me sad that they're so successful. Like, you can say, like, it makes me sad that a successful company isn't, doing more to honor Taiwan, but to straight up go like, I am pissed off that you guys are succeeding. Like, that to me is just like, okay, you're being completely racist. You're saying you don't deserve to succeed.
At that point, I would have been like, you know what, dude, go fuck yourself. Like, seriously, at that point, it's like,
which is what Mina here does. Like, play these last 13 seconds. I love it so much.
Yep, this last couple of seconds here. Yep.
They didn't say no. The collaboration that they've had to this point is with their supplier in Taiwan. And if nobody else has told them that before, you can't put that all on them.
it's like,
Why would
whatever.
they tell them that?
That's it. Like, watch, play those last 2 seconds, Outsider. He doesn't say anything. He's like, they got him. That's entirely. This is Simu.
No, his reaction, you can tell her, like, play it again. His reaction after she says that is like, well, whatever, that's on them. Like, he didn't care at all.
Yeah, he is not
told them that before. You can't put that all on them.
Yeah, okay.
That's the okay, Biff. Like that's what that was. He doesn't care about anything here except being this exceptionally performative champion of progressive rights, right? And like, I want to point something out that only dawned on me after I wrote this article and I was like laying down to go to bed. If anybody like recalls, he got his start on a television show called Kim's Convenience, in which he played a son of a it's Korean family who owned a convenience store. Simu Liu, as he made clear right here, is not Korean in the slightest. So literally, he got his success culturally appropriating a role that, by their logic, right, should go to a Korean individual. So he's doing the thing of like pulling the ladder up behind him. It's the most jackass move anybody can do. I got mine, screw the rest of you. I mean, like, that's how the boomers got us into this economy, right? And so he's just only me, Simu Liu. So after this segment comes out, obviously it sets the internet on fire. Everybody's talking about it. Apparently, and this was I forgot to add the post. This one is an editorial mistake on my end, but over on the company's Instagram, they made a statement and they were like, "Look, we're sorry. We heard his complaints. We're taking him into consideration, but also, like, can we stop? We're receiving a lot of harassment and death threats. Can this please stop? Like we're sorry. We don't know what else to do." And it didn't. And of course, guys, where are the death threats coming from? They're not coming from us, the anti-Marvel, anti-Star Wars people, the anti-woke people. This is coming from the people who agree with Simu Liu's bullshit. These are the people who think cultural appropriation is everywhere, who think that, we bring this up all the time. Oh, they didn't confirm Godzilla as black. This is racist. Like, that's where we're at with it. Like, that's the level of people who are issuing these death threats, who are harassing this company for nothing. So after all of this blows out, last night, Simu Liu goes to his TikTok page, which I need to like stress because he didn't post it to Instagram, or he didn't have a statement go out through his like representatives or a Twitter account or whatever. He went to TikTok, and that to me is like pointed. It's like, I know where I'm going to get the most sympathy. I know where my message is going to, get everybody going.
The CCP owned.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Didn't even think about that part. I was just thinking about the the youth, the dumb youth. I didn't even think about the CCP connection. Good job, Cider. Hell yeah. But so I guess we can get into it. It is a long video, and unfortunately, literally everything he says is like something to comment on. So we'll just get into it. Maybe we'll do all of it, maybe not. Well, you guys know how this show goes, so let's keep going.
Hey everyone, it's Simu.
All right, so this guy.
I just thought I'd make a video here in response to this crazy social media moment that I found myself in as it pertains to Dragon's Den and the boba of it all. First and
I'd sue him. I'd sue him.
Yeah, I would take him for all of his Shang-Chi money.
I show up in the courtroom with a neck brace and be like, this man has done irrepressible damage.
My neck and my back. I want 150,000.
I would go full Andy Kaufman on this guy.
we hit on a really important discussion about cultural appropriation, what it is, how is,
No, you decided to bring that up while these people were just asking for help with their small business in return for a teensy-weensy bit of their profit.
You decided to shit on their marketing pitch, talking about where's Taiwan on the can. That's what you did.
Where's Taiwan on a map, Simu Liu? Huh? Why did you do that? Let's see you get John Cena'd.
And then not only that, he acted like it was the company's responsibility to let people know that the shit was from Taiwan. It's like, you think anyone fucking cares? You think anyone's picking up a cup of Monster or Red Bull? Like, oh, let me figure out what country this originated from.
Like you guys all see me, whether it's here or on streams or whatever, like on this show or other shows, I drink these ice drinks all the time. They've got a bunch of there's a QR code to go join their rewards club. Here's how much caffeine. Here's a little slogan on it. Here's a hashtag that you can use. I don't notice this. I've maybe looked at this can before this moment right now, like once, and I think it was because I was like sitting somewhere bored, and I'm like, what is on here, right?
Taking a shit.
Yeah, I honestly, that's what it was, Cider. I was trying to keep it clean, but yes, that's actually where I can see the story in my head. But
you butt poopers are weird.
I'm sorry. It's my only alone time. It's my free time. It's
only alone time.
It's the one time
You guys don't puke into a box like on that one episode of South Park.
Oh yeah. No, it's the one time when if I go to the bathroom, that's when if you or Jacob or Nerdigans or Ryan or Derek or Dave, if anybody hits me up, I can be like, sorry guys, I was pooping my guts out, and nobody will go and nobody will get mad at you. Okay. Slight detour.
Sorry, guys. I ate a California burrito. You know how it goes.
This is
no, Kitty, you are not getting out of this one.
This is super relevant. So back in my college years, when I was a junior in college, I had a job working for my university at their events, right? Like setting them all up, all that fun stuff. University of California, Irvine, if anybody cares, it's irrelevant, but I didn't want anybody to think I was dodging information. But
look at me, I'm a nerd.
Trust me, I was not. The University of Chinese Immigrants, I was not one of them. But one day, on a Friday night, me, a bunch of my friends were having a party, and I had a shift at 10 a.m. the next day. So I went out and, we partied, we drank. I figured, okay, I'm getting home at 1 a.m. This is totally enough time for me to sleep, and I will be fine. I woke up 3 hours into my shift. It was 1 p.m. when I woke up. I jumped in my car, shot over to the university in my uniform, walked into the office, grabbed the radio that we're all supposed to carry, and I start hearing Spencer, come in. And I go, yeah, what's going on, guys? And they're like, dude, where have you been? We've been looking for you. And I was like, well,
I've been here the whole time. Where have you guys been?
I was like, well, when I got here, when I arrived on campus, there was a tourist who was asking for directions. So they asked me to take them to a hall, and I took them to that hall. Then I got back here, And guys, I'm feeling very bad. I was just in the toilet for like, and then I got cut off. My manager was like, "It's good, you're fine. Just come meet up with us." Like, I totally got away with it because I just said I was pooping. But anyway, yeah, back to Simu here. Just yeah, you said we. There's no we here, Simu. This is you. This is you being a jackass and you trying to get out of your responsibility of it. It's like I said in the headline. He starts playing the victim very, very, very hard here.
Well, and before we jump into it, I just want to make sure
Yeah.
that we get this from Meteor Advocate Timon, member of your channel, by the way. Little balls of tapioca are not from Taiwan, Cider. Please Google the word sagu. Sagu.
Sagu.
A very old dessert made by the Italian immigrants in southern Brazil.
Interesting. But see, like,
Learn something new every day.
Even like here's what I'm gonna say to that too. Like, even if because I didn't know about that, Timon. That's super interesting. But like, for example, I didn't know that came there, but obviously the Taiwanese used it. Like, that's what happens with food, right? Like, I don't understand this idea of every other race on the planet can open up their version or just open up a burger stop or a barbecue place and if a Japanese person in America opened up an Italian restaurant, everybody would applaud them. But the second like a white person tries to open up like a sushi joint that is completely like respectful, everybody craps their pants. It is this weird like backwards racism, and it's just it's baffling.
That's why I eat sushi.
How
more like you
is
can't
something
get it out there. I know where
rather
you
than kind of paying homage and paying respect. When is that line crossed? And in that conversation, by the way, I've experienced a massive wave of positivity and support from people from every community, and I just think that's really incredible, and I really appreciate that.
I'm so great, guys.
Hold on.
I hate this tone he's talking with.
So they saw this clip of him dressing these people down, and they were like, "Oh my God, Simulu, I feel so bad for you." Like, is that really what happened here? Oh my gosh.
They're going, Simu, I feel so bad for you, but also like, thank you so much for speaking out. You did the right thing. These people are off their rockers. Remember, it's all performative. They just want to be seen as the best person TM. It doesn't matter if there's substance behind it. As long as they can convince you of that and lie to you about that, they're good.
On the flip side, I've been made aware that the business owners have received a lot of death threats and harassment and
no, I wonder where those came from.
Bullying,
I know,
and dogpiling. And I just want to say that full stop. It's never okay to make threats. It's never okay to bully and harass.
It's never okay to bully. Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like when you bullied those owners on national television.
Yeah. like in the article, I was like, to his credit, he does tell his fans to like stop with the like extreme behavior, but also in the
for
same
legal
breath,
reasons. That's a joke. For legal reasons,
but yeah, like in the same breath, Simu goes like, but I'm sad, like, wah. And it's just like, dude, this is like, yeah, don't bully people. What do you think you did on live TV dressing these people down for? And again, like, they're working with people from Taiwan. The Taiwanese people they were working with didn't like shit their pants about not having the country on the label. Like, it's
the literal supplier from the literal country that you're trying to white knight did not give two shits about this entire situation.
It's literally that comic we always see passed around where it's like the fat white girl with like the pink hair and she's like covering the mouth of the black lady and she's like, you poor oppressed minority, I'm here to defend you and speak on your behalf. And it's like, that's what
you know what it really is? He's actually done more harm to Taiwan because that was their supplier and now their company's in the toilet because of him. So now they're not getting the money because this douchebag either. So
every level.
And what I mean by that, I don't mean, I don't mean that, the business owners don't deserve valid criticism, and I don't believe that you should.
He's not even apologizing. He's doubling down. He's like, well, I just gave them valid criticism. So it's like, what I did wasn't wrong, but what you guys are doing now, that's wrong.
That's what it is. Like, there was a way we wouldn't have. I know none of us here still would have agreed with him, but there was a more, like respectable way to have gone about that, which is like, I'm feeling this, like I know you guys are fine, you know, very much make that delineation that like I understand that this was probably a huge mistake, I'm just noticing that, like, but instead you go like, you guys did this, you're assholes, and instead of apologizing like, yeah, you know, that's what I believe, but I could have gone about it in a better way, he's just like, no, I'm right.
No, he's literally sitting here going, hey, look, what I did was actually valid and right, but what you guys are doing now, you guys are the ones that took this too far. So,
well, that's why he's like, I don't like, notice how carefully he had to play with his words there, because he's like, that doesn't mean I don't think they deserve valid criticism. Like, that wasn't the word he was thinking of. He had something else there. He does it again later on, and it kind of just exposes everywhere he's coming from.
About your disagreement, but you know, I think we can all agree, common sense, there's a line. There's a line that you don't and shouldn't cross. There's a line that you wouldn't cross in person. And I just don't want the legacy of this segment to be pitchforks and, you know,
Wham!
He started it though.
Exactly, Nerdigans. He's like, I don't want the legacy of this. Like, he doesn't care about the actual people. He doesn't care about what, like, how he presented his argument. He just cares, oh, I don't want people to remember that I got, you know, people harassed. That's not what I want. Everybody should be praising me for this moment. Like, get over yourself. Like, there's literally worse than Brie Larson, worse than Ziegler, like just complete head up his own ass.
Magic.
Fearing for their safety. I think we're starting to lose the plot of I think what ultimately the positive energy of this is, which is, let's educate people, let's make the world a better place, let's make people aware that, you know, certain things aren't okay from a cultural perspective. When people's personal safety are being questioned, that's when, you know, I think I have to take
again, when I was making my points, it was completely fine, but then you guys started attacking people based on what I said in the first place.
Based on what I said, yeah, exactly. Like,
it's the meme. You know the meme where it's the meme where the person's shoveling shit over the wall, and
and they're like,
and then it throws it, and then the shit comes back, and it's like, I'm oppressed.
Yeah, oh, why me? That's exactly what he's doing here. Like, again, he's saying, oh, you guys are too over the top. It's half of that is the way you attacked them. If you'd have attacked them in a way that showed, like, I still see you as like a person, your fans they probably still would have gotten harassed, but it wouldn't have gotten to this point. But when you put yourself up as like a hero crusader, of course people are going to go zealous, because they're like, yes, now I'm fighting for a cause, even if that cause is completely stupid and not real.
Yep. And he needs a shirt that says, I can't boba.
And
I can't
say
boba.
this as someone
The boba of it all.
No, like I can't breathe, but it's
oh
I
my
can't
god.
boba. Boba Floyd.
Honestly been on the other side. You know, rumors have spiraled out of control. Social media has kind of done its toxic thing. And, I've
social media did its toxic thing, not me.
overnight felt, you know, myself kind of on the other side of an internet dogpile, and it's one of the worst things.
Wait a minute.
He makes
on the other side of one? So hold on. So you're used to being on the dogpiley side. Is that what you're letting us know now?
He's saying he's used to being on the side of being dogpiled, right? Like having people like harass him.
Oh, okay.
But more to the, like, this is still something to call out, because again, from this point on, we get into like a minute of him going like, me, I know what this is like. I totally understand, guys. I've been here. You know what? This is what I do in my life. And it's like, I can tell you really just want to talk about yourself. You don't care about anybody but your own ego. It's crazy.
Yeah, nuts. And there we go.
Things that you can go through, and it causes undue mental stress and trauma. And in the case of these folks, you know, they're fearing for their physical safety. So I just want to say this. I believe that the entrepreneurs of this business came on Dragon's Den to pitch a business in good faith. There were a lot of things with the pitch that I took issue with and I disagreed with, and as a result,
it was literally one thing.
I pulled out as a potential investor.
But
that doesn't mean
presenting
that I
this in the most like
harassment.
Like,
okay.
Even in the video, he just goes there and says, "Well, you know, I just looked in this can and I don't see Taiwan on it." And it's like
he's really trying to position himself as if he took the route of like, hey guys, I just wanted to, you know, mention this. That's not what he did. He straight up was like, you're all assholes for doing this. Oh, look, where's Taiwan? Where's Taiwan? That's why I'm out. It's like, no, dude, You got on a soapbox.
Guys, you guys are like really destroying the point that I was trying to make, and it was a really awesome point that these people actually had. And now you gone and ruined everything.
Guys, you're ruining my moment. Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. You threw off my groove.
And threats. You know, I think a lot of grace should be afforded to them because they're French Canadian. I think their exposure to these types of cultural conversations was limited. And I also feel like
what
English
the
was
fuck?
He's still going on that he's right.
What the hell? Like, that's what I was talking about. What the hell was that? Like,
I'm sorry that you're mad at me. That's
That's Rachel Zegler.
It's like, look,
yeah, exactly.
Look, you guys need to understand that you need to have this conversation. So it's like, I know you're getting death threats now, but understand, I still have to bring this up in the first place.
The fact that he goes, like, this is what makes me so angry. In addition to everything we've talked about, is he goes, we should give them grace. Be nice to them. You didn't give that to them. You're saying that they came here in good faith to pitch this product. Then why did you, like, destroy them? Why did you... When you talk to the other dragon, why did you basically write off any of their,
with the wrong skin color, Spencer? That's why.
What he says. When he says like, oh yeah, they're French Canadian, they probably don't have exposure to these conversations. It's like they're not in the caves. Like, these people have internet, they're online. Like, what are you talking about? Like, how? Look, I know there's like bad blood in Canada between like Canadians and French Canadians. I get that. But this is like, to me, just there's nothing else here except like, I don't like French Canadians. It's so bizarre.
When you have cameras pointed at you and you're put on the spot and you have to kind of answer these questions that I don't feel like they were prepared to answer. You know, I think you're gonna say
they weren't prepared to answer. They were pitching a damn soft drink.
Seriously,
they had a raccoon.
This was not what. Of course, they weren't going to talk about this because you know what? As they pointed out, like, they talked to Taiwan. This business is already thriving. Like,
when you're pitching a business, like you're pitching like the mascot, the supplier, your profitability, things that are actually important. It's like no one's gonna be like, "Hey, do you think that this drink is racist towards Taiwanese people?"
You're so stupid.
Amazing. This is
things that are not perfect and not the best worded. And, you know, to a degree, yes, it's 2024. We expect
it's current year.
It's current year. Yep.
Guys, it's literally current year.
But at the end of the day, too, I mean, I try to live my life, my real life, and those and the people around me. I give grace and I ask for.
Oh, you give grace.
All of a sudden, this guy's a born-again Christian now, and it's just grace, just wheeling it around all over the place.
Boba T saved his... Boba Jesus saved his life.
Exactly.
You have to give Simu grace, but not those dirty French Canadians. They know what they did.
They don't speak a language.
For a lot of grace. I'm not a perfect human, but neither are any of the people in my life. And
see, he's just jerking himself off. It's all like me. Look how not bad of a person I am. Like,
now
leave it to Canadian to make me defend Canadians. Like, literally, the only way I can defend Canadians is if an even worse Canadian comes into play.
Now you understand why he's the random opposite to Ryan Gosling in the Barbie dance-off.
Barbie movie, yep.
That's why he's so random, because he literally walked in there like, you are perfect for the self-centered, closeted, gay, sexless doll that we need, okay?
Now I understand why people get stoned in the Middle East. Like, now I understand why people just pick up rocks and start throwing them.
Not my kind of stone, the dead kind.
Yeah. Now I know why people just pick up rocks and start throwing them at people.
Yeah.
I just feel like I wish we had a little bit more of that energy online, you know.
Yeah, throwing stones at you. I wish we had more of that energy here too.
A place where we could actually voice respectful disagreement with one another.
You know, like when you just dismantle a couple of people because they're the wrong skin color because they have a raccoon on their cans.
It's so hypocritical. It's so bizarre. Or
it's amazing.
Not bizarre, but like it's awe-inspiring, really.
it demonstrates the bubble that people in Hollywood are in. It really demonstrates the bubble that they're in.
Where you could respond to people as if we were looking each other in the eye and saying, okay, I hear what you're saying. I have to, this is my problem with it. This is my issue. And that.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. Well, no, I wish that he could think for a minute if they had replied like this to him and said, "I hear what you're saying, but I don't understand what a raccoon has to do with China invading Taiwan."
Yeah, he would have lost his mind and gone blah, 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 blah. Like everything.
Get
he
him
said
out of
here,
here.
He would have never given this to those people, as we
No.
saw. As we saw.
That we could have someone on the other end saying, "I hear you. Thank you for saying that. We don't agree, but I appreciate."
I hear you. Thank you for saying nonsense words about Taiwan. I will let our distributors know that they should have told us that it came from Taiwan.
Yeah, we'll go let the Taiwanese company we work with let them know that the Chinese celebrity is telling them how
From
to,
Canada.
Yeah, is telling them how to do their business. That's going to go over great.
Yeah, so this is Chinese kid. China, the country doesn't recognize you whatsoever. Yeah, apparently he's offended on your behalf. You want to talk to him?
Right, yeah.
It's his culture, by the way, as a Chinese Canadian.
Appreciate that we had this conversation.
No.
There was no conversation. You shit on them.
I also want to say that the
in order to have a conversation, someone has to be talking to you, and they weren't.
Like everything he tries to say, like the way he's trying to frame, "Oh, I wish it happened like this." He didn't do that, but he's not saying I failed on that end. He's saying you guys failing on that.
Godzilla.
Godzilla.
has been kind of catching some strays. Some of my fellow dragons have been catching some strays, and kind of.
Oh, strays. Okay, bullets. Right. I was like, what the hell do cats have to do with this?
I've caused such a shit show that even people remotely associated with me are now getting heat.
Yeah, right.
Associated. Remember, he's a guest on that episode. He's not even a real dragon. He was a one-time guest.
Baby dragon.
Well, I mean, Aquafina's always catching strays for her black scent and all of her bad ways acting.
I don't even.
Then he just reminded me that this douchebag was in that Jackpot movie that came out earlier. Shit, that was horrific as well.
Oh yeah, I heard you talking about that one.
That's we have such a short time to formulate our responses when we're filming these segments. Oftentimes, you're seeing a lot of knee-jerk reactions and micro expressions.
Oh yeah, we saw
happen.
knee-jerk reactions directly from you.
Do you see?
You caused it. You started the
knee-jerk was
microaggressions,
all from
bro.
him. But did you guys catch right there? Like he was so following his NPC script that he almost used the word he meant to use instead of the word that sounds right to people. He like you can rewind it like 2 seconds. He says, "Oh yeah, we're on camera and there's we're trying to react to a lot of things like micro expressions." Like he wants to say microaggressions and then he says expressions and that to me reveals like that's the mindset you went into. You weren't looking at them as good faith people who just had an idea. You saw them as people who were actively trying to offend you. Like, get over yourself. Yeah, you can hit play.
We have such a short time to formulate our responses when we're filming these segments. Oftentimes, you're seeing a lot of knee-jerk reactions and micro expressions that happen faster than the blink of an eye, and then we can't take them back because the camera's rolling. And so, I again found myself on the other side of that, of an unfavorable edit. But I can tell you for a fact.
Don't worry, guys.
The show...
Those other people, it wasn't as bad as you saw. It was all just editing. Don't worry. Like I wasn't that big of a jackass to them in real life. Like all of this.
Trust me, guys. They cut out the good part.
Yeah, Jacob. Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. You've seen this part, so yeah, that's exactly what he says
the
next.
Producers, the crew were so supportive of what I had to say. And in terms of my fellow dragons, regardless of what they said or what.
Regardless of what they said, I know in their hearts that they believe that Taiwan owns boba tea.
Listen, regardless of my fellow dragons, I'm sorry, what are you in Globo Gym now? Is that what you're doing?
Nobody makes me bleed my own boba tea.
They did or did not do while the camera was rolling. In the break room, everyone was all ears. Everyone was like, I want to hear more about what your perspective is. Let's
Oh my God, stop it. He's literally saying, guys, trust me, when the cameras are off, everyone was telling me how awesome I was.
Wait, have you not seen the response, Jacob?
Oh, not to this part, not to the very end.
Because he literally does they cut out the good parts. It's literally what he says right now.
Conversation. And yeah, I really wish that that had been filmed, but that isn't the reality. And so
Yeah, no, they like don't follow you around like your whole like rest of your life to find out if people turn the leaf, That's
you guys don't get it, all right? Off camera, all the stuff you didn't see, everybody was on my side. It was just that 5 minutes of edits where I looked bad.
And like I looked into my contract and it says right there that everybody has to be mean to you while the camera's running, and then they have to be nice to you when the camera's off. Like it's right there, like right there. And that it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And again, like this is just another example of how disconnected Hollywood is with all of the reality. Any reasonable person, like I would argue even Mark Cuban wouldn't have even made that statement. He would have been like, so you're Canadians making boba tea? And they said, yeah. And then the camera would have zoomed in on him. We were like, don't you find that a little weird? And they were like, no, we just make stuff and we have a raccoon. He would be like, okay, I'm in, I'm down.
Right.
I'm not missing Spikeball again.
He wouldn't have sat there and like try again. This was just Simu Liu trying to once again make himself like the hero of the progressive world. Do you guys remember when the Hollywood strikes were happening last year and he did that really like cringe interview from the picket line? Do you remember that video? So he's on the picket line and he's wearing a Taylor Swift like t-shirt that he cut the sleeves off of. It's not even like a tank top. He did like the cut thing. And he's talking about like, oh yeah, I'm here to support everybody, blah, blah, blah. Like giving the very canned response. And then he like does a super like, oh yeah, you know me, I'm a Swiftie, #1 out here. And I'm just like, dude, you are so fake. Everything you are doing is just to get you attention or like applause from these weirdos online. He's just like the fakest human being I've ever seen. I don't know why people keep giving him opportunities to do anything because he doesn't contribute to anything. His projects are all bad except for Kim's Convenience, but he had a very minor role in that. All he does is swing his tiny Asian wiener around. I can say that every time he's on a show. There was that time he was like, oh yeah, I felt like the writers on Kim's Convenience were really racist because they didn't, ask any of the actors for input. They didn't talk to me about how my character would act. And I'm like, because you're the actor. Who cares? That's not like you can give, oh, maybe my character might do that. But at the end of the day, the showrunner is the one, or the writers are the ones who say, do this or do that. Like they have no obligation to listen to you. So yeah, this guy is just the biggest jackass. Nothing he says should ever be taken seriously. And honestly, at this point, he should just be laughed out of everywhere.
Speaking of being laughed out, what the hell is this, Nerdigan?
Dude, Overwatch they have a foot fetish over there. I swear to God.
Man.
I looked at no, Spencer. I looked at the QRTs and like the first thing I saw at Face It Overwatch, it says there's another one for the toe gallery. So I don't know what is happening over there. I'm guessing there is not only just like a LGBT fetish over there, but there is definitely a foot fetish amongst the social media team at Blizzard.
Score another one for the the Genesis gamers, because it feels like that we got the best of video gaming, and then it just went all downhill since.
So yeah, so for those of you guys who don't know, this is a real post that came from the official Overwatch Twitter account about a new skin coming out for one of the characters, Kiriko, and it's like, look, she's got feet, and it's like a whole video centered on her feet. And honestly, this is my read of it. I don't think this is like somebody I don't think it's like how Nerdigans portrayed it, where somebody is just randomly throwing in their fetishes. I think this is Blizzard being hyper desperate for any sort of relevance, that they're just going to go for the pervert horny jokes. There's literally another thing you can earn this season along with the skin. It's a like a nameplate for your account that gives you the title of Kitten of Discord. Like it literally says you're a Discord kitten, which for anybody who's not as terminally online as us, that's usually like a weird sub-dom online like thing. Like people,
dude, they're kinky over there,
right? And so like to me, this is less like ew weird like horny and more like You guys have gotten so
We
desperate.
need
But
a
that's true,
giant
though.
box. We need a giant box of just cultural stones, and we need to just start lobbing them out like
But that's
like
true, though. That what was
mortars.
being said. That the only thing keeping Overwatch alive really is porn. So they're really embracing the porn.
Well, like that's
Well-
the thing is that they're not even the game's not even that alive, Nerdigans. Like even the people who like the porn, they only go and engage with that stuff. They don't play the game. The game is in a very bad on life support spot, and Blizzard keeps announcing, like they keep making changes and taking back promises that they made about the game's development. So it's just in such a bad place that like that's what this says to me is like you're not even going for like horny marketing where it's like, oh, here's Mercy in a new like swimsuit. You're going for like the specific marketing, like really hard. And there's also I saw that earlier, Nerdigans, and I was like, what the hell? And I looked in the replies and stuff. I guess in the latest World of Warcraft expansion, there's a new villain who like she's barefoot, and somebody on the Steam forums was like, somebody's got to have a foot fetish over at Blizzard because her feet are everywhere. And I was like, that guy's probably overreacting. And I went and I watched those cutscenes. Like 90% of them take place like at her feet, behind her, and she's like hovering so you can see her soles. So like
It's a Dan Snyder foot fetish kind of thing going on over
like,
there.
It's just desperation. Like it's just like it's like be what you're into, but the fact that you're trying to market your game on this now is so
This is what entertainment is now. Just people marketing their worst sexual fetishes that they got at some like third-rate porn site. It's like, oh yeah, you guys want our new video game? You want our new comic book? You know, our new television show? This is what everything is now. It's just some weirdo sexual fetish. Everything has become Tumblr, and it's all Nerdigan's fault.
It is
single-handedly all her fault.
I was never on Tumblr, so don't look at me.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if this is Nerdigan's fault or not, but it is definitely in the
Single-handedly.
fetishization situation. Sega censors Rouge the Bat's bareback in Sonic X Shadows Generations. Now, I just want to point out immediately here. I made this post on Twitter. Sonic, Shadow, Knuckles, Tails, and the majority of the cast in the Sonic franchise don't wear pants. And yet somehow we've decided Rouge the Bat has a bare back, and it's not fur, by the way. We've just decided that that's flesh somehow. And we've decided that that has to be censored, not Sonic's hyper-waggling cock that's like flopping around at hypersonic speed, you know? Like, come on, what the hell?
Okay, if there was a game like that, that would be Game of the Year, first of all. But it also, like, to be fair, the female characters in Sonic always get the clothes treatment. But
yeah, they get
to that
pants.
point-
Amy has
to the
underwear,
point,
it's true.
Amy is untouched here in the same capacity that Rouge is. So I will admit, guys, before we get into the article, like I was writing this one and I was just like, man, this is where my life's gone, huh? Like I'm writing about Rouge the
It's
Bat
happened.
getting censored. Yep, like here we go. Like this. Look at me now, Mom. Like I've made it. Like obviously,
I went to UC Irvine.
Yeah, like, this is obviously something to talk about. But I'm sitting here and I'm like, they censored Rouge the Bat's back. And
The
this
thing
what I'm
is,
writing about. Awesome.
Spencer, it's like the letters from home in World War III, right?
That's gonna
Are
be,
gonna be
coming
like,
soon, right?
I don't know what we're fighting for anymore. They took away Rouge's bare back. I don't know what we're fighting for anymore.
I have news from the front lines. The generals have informed me that Rouge the Bat has been like desecrated.
Censored.
We move on Sega HQ in the morning.
Right.
I don't know if I
Furries are moving-
return.
No, it's like the furries are moving on Sonic HQ in the morning.
We're all behind them. We're all in this war. We're all on this side together.
But that's what these corporations have done to us, is they've forced us to have this conversation now.
Exactly. Thank you, Saiyan. That's the best summary of it. Is like this is what they've done to us. Like we have to have this conversation.
No, but the thing that I think is funny though, and I have to bring the furries up in this conversation for a second, is that they I know it's weird, but I have to. But like they always like are hating on the anime community and attack like anime girls and stuff like that because they're trying to like, you know, keep their community safe. That's what it feels like. And the anime community has kept warning them. It's like, dude, watch, they're gonna come after you next And now
It's a
there it
fetish
is.
civil war.
Yeah, exactly.
First they came for the lolly and the shadow
This is a
And I said-
battlefield of
and I said
degenerates.
First they came for the lollies and shotos, and now
And
they
I said,
came for
and
the
I said
furries.
nothing. And then
Yeah,
they
I
came
said
and I said
nothing, and now they came for the furries.
If only we
Good for me,
could
and
put
I
all
don't
these
feel my
people
life.
in a stadium together and let them go at it, and then they'll
Oh,
call
dude,
it
the
an
lollipops
airstrike.
would win.
It's
Dude, my God,
ridiculous.
dude, the lollipops would destroy them in a heartbeat. They would.
I've long held that I want to have like a reality show where you just like throw two groups of people who like absolutely hate each other, like super like Antifa and like the alt-right, like throw them in a stadium, all the LARPers,
Yeah.
and just let them to go to town. Like, fine.
And then, like 5 minutes into the battle, just go enemies. You want 30
Dude, I've seen that happen. It's called. I saw that happen in DC. The Proud Boys whooped the Antifa LARPers' asses like in.
I know, but
like 5 minutes.
I want it to be an official
No,
organized
yeah.
event. that
Spencer
I can
wants it
send
on
people.
pay-per-view.
Yeah, exactly. I want this to be a thing where I can regularly send everybody who's
Yeah,
online.
why don't Mr. Beast put some of his money into making that happen instead
So,
of doing crappy videos with Logan Paul every 2 weeks?
Leslie, I wouldn't recommend posting this one too often.
Yeah.
Leslie, no.
I in the future
It's
maybe we'll
literally
leave that one out loud.
It's literally like the Heisenberg screaming me, no!
Yeah, right under the floorboards.
She's channeling her inner Shinzo Abe. He's never left us.
Oh.
So yeah, the crux of this story is essentially that Rouge the Bat, who you guys might remember, was introduced in Sonic Adventure 2 as a jewel thief, a sort of femme fatale, opposite to Knuckles. She has always sort of had I hate having this conversation about a Sonic character, but it's like she always had the sexier design, right? Like she had cleavage, she had her bare shoulders. It was supposed to be like an old like cabaret type of dress sort of look that she always had on her. Like that was her look. Over the years, they've tried to, censor her in various ways, give her different outfits. In the Sonic X anime, there were times when they would just like remove the cleavage line thing from her character so it didn't look like her boobs were hanging out. And now in the upcoming Sonic and Shadow Generations, we get her entire bare back is completely covered now for absolutely no reason. And not only does this look stupid and is an obvious case of censorship, but like it doesn't make sense because she uses bat wings. So how are they getting out of her back? Like, doesn't matter anymore. This is the equivalent censorship job of that Dragon Quest warrior, where they were just like, throw like cloth on her, we're good, send it out. And yeah, like
so we're gonna spend all of our time and money putting Rouge the Bat in a burqa rather than like modifying her giant like Lara Croft PS1 boobs for the video games. Priorities, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so to what Cider was saying before, the crazy part is like okay, so Amy Rose, she's had a backless sundress design ever since she got the jump to 3D in Sonic Adventure. And in this game, like she still has her bare back. Like it's this weird like that somebody at Sega was sitting there, and like now I feel like I'm in Cider Predicts territory. Like somebody at Sega was sitting there and was like, you know what? Kids are getting too horny for the bat. How do we stop them from getting horny for the bat? Like I can't think of any other conversation they might have had. And more to the point, like this is where we've gotten in society now. Everybody is so puritanical. Everybody is so afraid of offending that we can't. The cartoon anthropomorphic bat now has whose back you see for like maybe 2 seconds. I was talking to a bunch of people, including Dash, Path of Radiance. Shout out to the boy. She's only in the game for like 2 cutscenes for a total of like 10 seconds. So Sega was like, no, can't have anybody thinking about skin. Like, don't you dare. And it's just like, okay, there go. Like, you wonder why population rates are dropping. You wonder why everybody is at each other's throats. You wonder why everybody has unhealthy relationships. It's this kind of shit. Like, I know I'm blowing it out more than probably we need to, but like the censorship has come for the furries. Like Nerdigan said, there's no way around it.
They came for the lollies and shotas, or they remain silent. They came for the or no, it should be they came for the Oh my
Just
god.
nuke everything. Just go full of stuff.
Nerdigans, what you want to do, you're trying to say is they came for the lollies and I didn't speak for them. They came for
No,
the
I was
furries
thinking-
and
I
I
was
didn't
think-
speak for them.
No, I was
then they
thinking-
came for the furries and there was no one left to speak for me.
No, I was thinking about. Oh God, what was it? I was thinking about the big-breasted women first. I'm trying to remember the name for it. It's just escaping me.
They came for the unregistered sex offenders, and suddenly everyone just went away.
And Hollywood shut down the next day. No more movies.
God.
But yeah, like this is just, yeah. To me, this is, I know that this obviously seems very trivial, and a lot of people are like, we're talking about Sonic characters, but it's still censorship. It's still something to call out, and it still is just, it's more indicative of where our culture is at now than probably anything else we can see, because they're going for the cartoon bat. Like, yes, I know people will find her attractive, but people will find anything attractive. There are people out there who want to bang a toaster, and I'm not just talking about like.
There's
mecha
people who
girls,
find
actual
Zendaya
toasters.
attractive. People are just weird.
Right. Like there are people. I have seen like so many of those. Like, who out of these four would you pick with Zendaya in it? And I've seen too many people from those available options picking Zendaya, and I'm like, Florence Pugh is also right in that square right there. So is
That's
Bryce
stupid.
Dallas Howard. Like, what are we doing? Yeah, like, so you can't account for taste, but the more you try to cover this stuff up, censor it, put it away, the more it's going to backfire on you, and the more it's just going to entice people, right? Like, if you go, oh, look, we censored Rouge the Bat's back, now people are going to go, well, what was wrong with Rouge's design before? And they're going to type in like sexy Rouge, and goodbye, there goes the rest of your life. I will see you in 30 years when you're being arrested. Like, that's how the pipeline goes.
You can't cut. Well, they're coming for the OPI. That's the term I was looking for. Was the OPI?
Oh, the OPI.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
and I
came-
said nothing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They came for the OPI and said nothing. Then they came for the lollies. And then you said nothing.
And
then
they
you
said
showed
nothing.
it.
They came for the furries, and there was no one left to say or to speak for me.
Dude, we need to make a meme just for that.
No, because I don't. Or,
Because it's
no,
so
listen,
true.
I was gonna say no. I don't want to help them in any way, but I'm like, no, that defeats the entire purpose of us doing the. I never thought I'd fight alongside a dwarf. How about
So-
a friend?
Judging by that yawn, it's time to get into the final segment of the show. We put it in the title even.
Signal loud and clear. Equity's right here. I'm a wolf parade, here to make the grade. Meetings full of sugar, call it lemonade. Write a mission, tweet away. Work, oh no, not today. Buzzwords in the air. I don't care, I don't care, I don't care.
Vape guy. It's always vape guy.
Always.
This is
I-
a
I-
huge
I love
victory,
that.
man. This is a
I
huge
love that
victory.
so much.
Well, this is a huge victory for Japanese Twitter because they were fighting this. They were fighting
Yep.
the good fight for like what, a few weeks on this.
A couple
Well, then,
months.
why don't our Japanese expert and our Ubisoft expert? Why don't you guys walk us through this one? You guys have heard enough of me complaining about Simu.
So the situation as it stands right now is that at one point, Pure Arts, their statue figure kind of company, they released special editions, had collaborated with Ubisoft to put this monstrosity on the left out here, featuring a Funko Pop styled Yasuke and a Funko Pop styled Naue, who are interacting with a broken Torii gate. Now, I'm sure in the offices of Ubisoft, before they hired those historians, we heard that they didn't hire from the beginning, by the way. I'm sure this seemed like a really cool idea, like, wow, broken Torii gate, like something awful happened, like now is up there like anime posing with her butt on it. Oh, it's so cool. And apparently all these cultural experts that they hired and the historians were like, oh yeah, the most famous icon in Japan of the Nagasaki bombing is the one Lake Torii. Maybe not a good idea to like put your Funko Pop weirdos in front of that, especially where they're not like positively interacting with that object. And Ubisoft just decided to keep running that for about 2 months now, I think, is it. And finally, they have now come out and put out a apology, as we see right here. It says, "We recently released an insensitive design. We appreciate and have learned from the concerns brought to our attention, and we apologize for the harm this caused. After reading and processing the feedback, we have immediately returned to the drawing board and are currently reworking design of Collector's Assassin's Creed Shadows, Yasuke and Naoe. Stay tuned." And so they got a whole heap and helping of screw you over this, as they should have. I don't suspect they'll come back with anything, to be
No, they
completely
shouldn't.
honest with you.
I think
There's
they'll either
no
do that.
time.
They'll either do that. Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even consider that, because earlier today I was thinking like because I was talking to Culture Casino and those guys, and they were like, "Oh yeah, they're just going to trash it. This is false advertising." And I'm like, they're probably just going to restore the Tory Gate and make it a full one. But then I didn't even think about that timing and all that. Cider, yeah,
Like, somehow this made it through 10 different departments and 2 different companies,
Right.
at least. And no one raised their hand and said,
and guys, and like to what Cider was saying, guys, is like, yes, I know we just got done talking about the Simu Liu situation where, they were working with a Taiwanese company and they never brought it up. But you could say the same thing happened here. Ubisoft worked with Japanese people and they never brought it up. But the problem is, this is the company that, like, this game, this company, everything surrounding it has been promoted on the idea of like, we are so respectful and we are not offensive. We will give you the most honorific, like, respectful, best experience of Japan ever. We're going to be so sensitive. And then, they miss a giant big one. Again, this is not some guy writing a comic book, a giant big one, this isn't just like some independent creator making a comic and going, dang, I didn't research enough, my bad. This is like, they had teams of people. They had teams, or reportedly teams of people that we know came in really late, but they still had people who could have gone, that's not something you do. And yet, so to me, that's either like they didn't ask them about it or they just ignored it, which would be even weirder from a company out of Ubisoft who's like, we will change everything to not offend, your grandmother who died 4 years ago. Well, don't worry, we're looking out for her.
Well, so to clarify, not only is this a one-legged Tory being something left over from the bombing of Nagasaki and Hiroshima, this is the actual object that survived that. Not only that, but the Torii Gate in Japan is a religious symbol. Shintoism has a very strong relationship with this. And so a destroyed Torii Gate is not only bad luck, but it is also not as sacrilegious as a broken cross, but it is as jarring, I would say, as seeing a broken cross. And so having someone propped atop a broken cross while another is bemused staring into the horizon is a bit, I wouldn't say offensive, I would just say it's a bit lackluster in what they could have done. I pointed out in the video that we made today that Yasuke could have been pushing on the Torii Gate on the other side to get it upright, and Naoe could be standing off to the side holding a bunch of wood. And that would have been demonstrative of them repairing what the Templar had done to Japan. All right? And so that would have made a much cleaner presentation of them interacting with damage done or, taking back Japan. Yasuke could have been knelt down doing a Christian prayer in front of the Shinto, in front of the destroyed Torii, blessing, asking for God to forgive the people and that did this and to move on, and let those who suffered move on, that sort of thing. But no, they decided to have Naoe just plant her butt up on top of this religious symbol, and Yasuke is just like, I'll stab somebody. That just seems to be his expression.
Cider, there's this video going around right now talking about like why tourists stop fucking around in Japan. You're all being awful people. But it's like this young woman, probably in like her early 20s. She's like walking through, I forget what they're called exactly, but like those long rows of Torii Gates. You know what I'm talking about? Like the pathways of them. Yeah. She grabs onto one of those Torii Gates and starts doing like pull-ups and laughing and like ha ha ha. And it's like, damn, do you even know? That's like going into like a Christian church and twerking on the cross at the front. Like this is, you guys are doing really dumb stuff. No wonder they hate us. Baka Gaijin.
Well, and I just want to point out that, like, however you come by it, even if you don't agree with like the Shinto religion, if you don't like think that it's real or whatever, that's perfectly fine. It's just not appropriate to go around provoking people's anger. It's not a good idea to go pissing people off, especially when you want their money. It's one thing if you want to like make them think a different way, so you're creating media that causes them to have a conversation. Great. You want to actually change minds. But if you're trying to sell a damn video game, you're trying to make multi-million dollars because you put multi-million into the project, probably not a good idea to piss off 60% of the buying audience.
Every level of this development has just been a textbook like case or like a masterclass in incompetence. It is, you know what? Like I've come to realize that when we have these talks and I get to this point where I'm just like, it's not because I don't know what to say. It's not because I don't know what's going on. It's that I'm literally just awestruck by how insane the thing we are talking about is, that there's just no words. Like, this is just so dumb. I'm speechless.
Yeah. And then I found out today that there is a Tory gate in Maine.
Yeah.
I did not know
what the hell
that.
is this? This is so weird. Is it made out of so yeah, like it's a sister city thing.
Bring up a picture.
What is it? Bath in Japan? Like that's the city? Or no,
No.
in Maine. It's Bath, Maine.
Yeah. It's Bath is where we build the battleships. And so it's been there for a very long time. And so that's this is how this came about. So there is a Tory gate in Bath, Maine, where we build the battleships. It's because one of the ships that we built in Bath ran aground and kind of sort of sunk off the coast of one of the Honshu Islands. And so Tsugaru is where the sister city to Bath. And so I just found out today that there is a Tory gate in Maine. So eventually I'll get down there and take pictures with it and confuse everybody.
Wait, do you have the picture? You didn't put it up.
Oh, yeah. Whoops. Got to put the picture up. There it is. There we go.
Look, there's a real one. Is that the
My
shipyard
bad.
behind it?
I think so, or at least one of the offloading docks nearby. It doesn't look like a shipbuilder because that's a ship crane, and they don't typically have to have a ship crane for that. They have a crane that's mounted on the ground,
Yeah, you're totally right. That's just for like containers.
It could just be at the port, so everybody can access it, because if you actually put it on the military base and you have to have clearance to get in, to get around it, so it kind of defeats the purpose. So, but I'll probably go there and try to find an angle that makes it look like I'm not in the United States, and then I'll just be like, "You'll never guess where I am today, guys," and watch.
Through Tokyo, you should like take a mobile setup there and do Tokyo Happy Hour from the field.
I'm pretty sure I'll look like a space alien if I try that. You ghost hunting, son? No,
exactly. I was gonna say, like, because it's Maine, everybody be like, is that a radio? Like, what are you doing there?
Yeah, right. You trying to reach Japan from here, son?
We're doing it on Halloween and see what happens.
Made him laugh so hard, broke reality behind him. How about that? Death of the green screen.
No, I just
there you go.
It's so funny. Nerdigans, on this topic, you were saying that the Japanese Twitter side of Twitter is happy about this. Tell us more about that. I haven't seen any reactions from the Japanese yet.
Well, Japanese Twitter is happy about this because this is something that they were not happy about. If you guys remember when this came out, they did not like how the figures were posed on it. They did not like the fact that they made a figure of the Tory Gate in the first place for this game. And I mean, this was all, accumulated from everything that has happened so far with Ubisoft, with like the Sekigahara situation and all of the assets in the game itself, with the Chinese letters in the game, and what was the other thing that I was thinking of too, and all the different AI that was up in there as well, and the ghost table. Oh god, that ghost table is just so funny. But like everything was accumulating up to this point, and to see it like canceled it was just it was so good for them. It was like a huge victory for Japanese Twitter.
Like finally somebody's actually listening to us on this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like from all the interactions like you get on Twitter, and I know Cider gets here on the YouTube channel, like that one Sweet Baby Inc. employee who tried to claim that like, oh yeah, all Japanese people, or like the Japanese people are excited about this. Yeah, Kazuma. She was like, they're all excited about this, and it's like, no, we know they're not. Like, it's just verifiably no.
But the thing that's frustrating about this whole thing, and I've seen this from the very start since Sasuke was announced. I said Sasuke. I'm sorry. Yasuke was announced.
I was gonna see if you caught that. I was gonna let that one slide. I was like, you went Naruto on me, but I'm gonna let it slide.
I went Naruto. Well, since Yasuke was announced, is that a lot of these Westerners are just like, oh, the people that are speaking Japanese on Twitter and bitching are just white neckbeards using Google Translate. And I keep
wait, what was that? Wait, what was that last part? Sorry, you
that they're white neckbeards using Google Translate on Twitter. That's the people that are bitching. And I'm like, really? I've seen mostly actual Japanese people bitching about it. I've posted these tweets, and I've had actual Japanese people tell me that these people are weird and they're stupid. That actual Japanese people are furious about it.
It's fantastic. No, they're just the accusations that like, oh, it's only white neckbeards who want it. Like, that's not true. At like,
you mean that don't want it,
or yeah, don't want it. Like, it's not even close to being true. Like, it's not just that demographic. It's a lot of people. It's people across the board. I was talking about this earlier on that Game Place, but like of all entertainment mediums, like video game fans are probably the most like informed and on top of their hobby. There is still a significant amount, because just video games are so big now, there is still that significant amount of customers who just buy, right? Like the normies who will buy the new Madden, the new Call of Duty, the new Assassin's Creed, the new Tomb Raider, just because it's an IP. They saw an ad for it, right? Like, those people still exist. But the fact that Ubisoft is looking at Assassin's Creed and going like, this is, we're in like bad sales territory, these are bad prospects, means that not only are all the people who, play video games hardcore and stuff like us, not only are they tuning out, but you're losing that casual audience from all of your bullshit. Like, again, we see this all the time. Once rhetoric escapes like Twitter or the internet, like social rhetoric leaves the internet, it stops making sense to anybody, because the internet is a weird world unto its own, which is like, that's why, like, for even more so for that Simu Liu thing, right? We heard Simu Liu, and everybody here, I know every one of us were like, oh yeah, he sounds just like everybody else in these last 5 years. I've heard a Tumblr kid say that. I've heard, Rachel Zegler say that, da. But most of the like normies haven't. So they hear him say this crap. You thought we were all like baffled and like confused. They were probably like, I don't know what this guy is on. What is he even talking about? So yeah. Hopefully this is like a sign that this kind of super online like creative direction isn't what sells. Like, it's not. You might find like a small audience who likes your stuff, but you're not going to have like a huge successful blowout game. Like,
this modern audience, it doesn't exist because the majority of people that are bitching, and we saw this with obviously with Splatoon, they don't even play the game. No, they don't. It's the same thing with Genshin. They don't play the game. They get all their shit from Twitter, from memes.
Well, it's that thing I say all the time, right, Nerdigans? It's people aren't fans of properties or stories or characters anymore. They're fans of being fans of things. That's why, like, they want to be seen as like, oh yeah, I like Godzilla, I like Nintendo, but they don't really care about the actual thing. They just care about, do you see me as a fan of this thing? And like, that is the overbearing like state of our pop culture. we want to appeal to the fans of being things. We don't care about the actual fans of this thing, just the people who always talk about being fans of it. And that's why everything gets casualized, everything gets thrown out the door, and we just keep getting really, really bad movies, comic books, video games, everything across the board. It's just a sad state of where we are.
That tracks. And, nothing you could do to change it at this point. Just absorb media that you want to, whether it's past or indie or just from another country. Like we've got Japanese-influenced media here. We've got Korean-influenced media here. So, there's a smorgasbord of stuff, past and present, if you want to enjoy it. And please.
You now have to take your entertainment overseas because that's how the market is now. Congratulations, everyone. We're not
Or
outsourcing entertainment.
That is where, and yeah, you're right, Nerdigans, indie too. Like that is where we're at. But I genuinely, like, I do think that we're gonna start seeing some level of change. I'm not gonna say everything's over. I'm not saying we're going back to normal, but like this rejection of Assassin's Creed Shadows, of Star Wars Outlaws, of things like Joker 2,
of Dustborn.
Of Dustborn, which is exactly what I was rolling into. Cider had my back there, and Concord, like all of these things, people are waking up to the fact that this stuff doesn't make for a good experience. For all the platitudes and like celebration you can give for having a character with vitiligo, like it doesn't make a good game, and nobody is really gonna hang out to play it. So. And the reason I wanted to bring up the Dustborn connection specifically is because we got this story today where the director of Dustborn is basically going out there and he's going, no, like our game's not political. Everybody is, who is attacking it or criticizing it, they're doing it in bad faith. They don't even know what they're talking about. And then literally like later on in the article, he gets asked directly, like, do you think Dustborn's been a flop? And he says, no. Dustborn's been great. It might not have met our sales metrics, but there's a lot of different ways to measure success. Yeah, we still need to go away to get, financially successful, but so far the reception's been, completely great. The game by Steam DB has only sold at max like 7,000 copies. And yes, that's only on Steam, but that is abysmal for a game you're trying to say has been a success. So the main point I'm making with here, we don't have to spend a bunch of time because I know we're at the end, but it's people are waking up, people are seeing that this is trash and there is a shift happening, and all of these companies are suffering for it, but none of them are coming out and saying like, yeah, we flopped, we messed up, we need to try again. This is the second time in as many weeks. I wish I could remember who the first one was, but where somebody comes out and goes, our game's not a flop. There's a bunch of different ways to measure success. There was somebody else who recently did that. And it's like, no, dude, that means it's a flop. There's no measuring success. It doesn't matter how many retweets or pieces of fan art you get on Tumblr. That it doesn't mean anything for the success or popularity or whatever of your project. So yeah, we're seeing there is a change happening. More people are getting woke to it, but as always, guys, keep vigilant, keep calling everything out, because just because we're making progress doesn't mean we give up the fight yet.
Even if you're getting shadow banned like I am.
I thought you were unshadowed banned.
Nope, I'm still shadow banned. I'm still shadow banned.
She got re-shadow banned.
Just make a new account. Just use your Nerdigans one. That way people actually can know it's you.
But I'm monetized on this one. I pay for it.
But you can change. That's your monetization. You can change which account is monetized. That's not Twitter's fault. I'm looking out.
Now she has to put in her credit card information again, and it's a whole thing. And I don't want to go through all that. So it's like, man.
Honestly, no, I do that a lot. It's like, oh, I gotta go, like, put in my credit card info again. No, I'm okay. That's fine. I don't need help.
I gotta turn my light off before I go to bed. Screw it. I'll just sleep with it on.
Well, I do that like every night. It's like, oh, the light in my closet is shining right in my eye. I could get up. I'm just gonna put the blanket over my head. We're good. Or like put pillows stacked perfectly.
So there you go. Global warming, Spencer's fault.
Yeah.
It's your fault for being Bear Pig.
Exactly. It's not the AI or anything or all of our non.
Everyone's just like get up at like 4 a.m. having to pee, be like, nah, I can hold out for 2 more hours because you're just so lazy. You don't want to get up.
No,
I got a bottle around here somewhere.
That's what I was gonna say, Cider. It's like, no, I'm going chamber pot. It's gonna be right there, and then I just toss it out the window in the morning.
Down in the peasants below.
Like the Dave Matthews Band.
All those Arizonan peasants on their cobblestone streets and their foggy cities. Goes
Hashtag
down,
piss on
foggy
rattlesnakes.
I don't live in Silent Hill. I live in
Yeah,
Breaking
right?
Bad.
I live in Flagstaff. It's even worse.
Leslie, I've literally been like, I do need the clapper. I should buy the clapper, and then like, I just don't do it. I don't know. I always make that.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
You'll be laughing at a joke in here, and you'll like have a rave in your bedroom.
That's literally what I was gonna say. Is like I
start playing
scream in my
Zombie
room too
Nation.
much and clap. Like it's just like Cider, that was amazing. Gone. Like don't.
Yep, just like that.
Spencer's in the dark now.
Exactly. I was born in it. You are simply molded by it, adopted it. But all right, let's see. We are nearing, or we are pretty much at the end of our show for tonight. Does anybody have any other last topics that they want to hit that we didn't already? Anything they gotta say? Want to say?
Nah.
Well, real quick is that there is the Viewfinder movie that got announced. That has to be the most random thing that Mattel hasn't done yet. And it's live
No,
action.
we heard about this last year during the Barbie. Like we made a bunch of money thing because they're going to make a live action Barney. Yeah, that was part of the list. They're making that. This is when they said that Vin Diesel was going to do a Hot Wheels movie for them.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And so this Viewmaster was part of the list. So yeah, it's going to be like Tomorrowland, where it leads a child to some place that was forgotten, and you can only see the future if you do the Viewmaster thing. That's what it's going to be.
Like someone in the comment, someone in the comment section,
dumb than that.
well, someone in the comment section is like, Mattel, you're doing this shit and not Street Sharks. What is wrong with you?
Oh, I gotta let you know, they don't own that. Some weird guy that orbits Preston Poulter over there at Pocket Jack Comics.
Yeah, Pocket Jack. Yeah,
Moby. He actually has one of the trademarks to the Street Sharks. He went and bought it because it lapsed back in I guess 6 years ago or so, and he bought it. And so they can't because it's like the Hulk situation with Universal.
Yeah.
It's split. So yeah, they'll never see another Street Sharks thing unless that guy manages to buy the rest of it or they buy him out of it. Neither are interested at the moment.
Yeah, nobody's gonna do that.
Street Sharks is a hard sell, to be honest, because it's all guys. And there was never a lady Street Shark ever introduced. They had a girlfriend character that they interacted with.
Can we make one of the Street Sharks black and then make him gay for no reason?
that will be it. You know that's going to happen. All
the
four
villain,
of them.
The villain.
No, the villain is going to be a straight white man who talks like Donald Trump and I don't know, hates the environment. What
about the Rainbow Bright remake? What's going to happen in the Rainbow Bright remake that's coming?
In fairness, that's by the Hallmark Channel, so probably not a lot. It'll probably be very dull, but it probably won't program your kids to cut off their genitals. So that'll be a good
positive thing. There's a positive there.
I think there's a movie and a TV series coming with the Rainbow Bright remake.
I totally forgot.
This feels weird. It's like when you try to market a new Indiana Jones movie. It's like all the fans of this are 40 plus now. You haven't made an appeal to kids in forever. They don't even know what this culture is. Right? Like pulp action. They don't know what that even is.
It's the same thing with Wonder Pets too. It's like that's why they killed the duck and they killed the turtle was because of that.
They were too heteronormative. But we do have media advocate Timon, member of the channel, saying today Netflix releases their Gundam Atrocity.
Oh yeah, I'm not excited for that. That's going to be the CG realistic Western one. What's it called? Like Requiem for something? Requiem.
Requiem of Vengeance or something.
Yeah, I got to catch at Comic-Con this year. They Bandai had a booth and it was mostly centered around this stuff. So they had displays up of the actual suits and character art. It looks bad, guys. It does not look.
Come on, baby. I just want out.
Yeah, that's kind of how I was. I was standing in the merch line to buy a clear Haro kit that I unfortunately didn't end up getting.
Of course not.
Like, I was like, oh man, this is bad. Like, this is going to be a really bad thing.
Well, you know what's not though? Out on the wild internet, Miss Nerdigans, where do we find you?
You can find me on Nerdigans Inc. on YouTube, where I cover anime and manga every day. On Patreon, on patreon.com/packergirl, I'm covering anime. I am doing Dragon Ball Daima, which is so beautiful. And then we're covering Bleach 1000-Year Blood War. I'm behind on it, but I am covering Four Nights of the Apocalypse. And I was going to start covering Rama Half, but of course it was on a Saturday, which was Yom Kippur. And yeah, recording Bleach while fasting was not fun. And I felt really sick after that. So
yeah, I was going to ask you, how did that all turn out? Were you good? Did you get it done?
I fasted. I did, despite feeling sick after recording Bleach. I did it.
Proud of you.
You heard it here.
And then on Twitter, you can follow me, which is right there. And I am obviously, as we've talked about here, I'm posting like all kinds of things, all kinds of shenanigans, even though might as well be tweeting to the void at this point, since I'm in the Twitter shadow ban realm. And then my Cash App right here, if you want to help us, get out of our horrible living situation. I need to just do a freaking GoFundMe at this point. Our Cash App is right there. And we got 3 articles going. We got the Rama Half article that is just waiting for Spencer. I have the Splatoon articles that I'm doing, one for the actual harassment towards the Pop Team Epic Mangaka, and then one for the Japanese Twitter response, because it's very, as we talked about in Tokyo Happy Hour, it's very interesting seeing Japanese Twitter talk about the racial double standard that is happening amongst Western activists in terms of blackwashing and whitewashing. And they destroyed them. So stay tuned for those articles.
All right. And Jacob, where do we find you out on wherever this is?
You can find me over at Society Reviews on the YouTube. Go back and check out last night's episode of The Barroom. We talked about Anna Kasparian. We talked about Simu Liu. We talked about the Brave New World leaks in detail last night as well. A little bit of Joker stuff. So check out that episode. Friday, we got a movie club coming out where I'm talking about Saturday Night Live. Michael Keaton has a new movie with Mila Kunis. We'll talk about that on Friday. Sunday is Bible Lens. We'll talk about the church failing Christian men. And then this weekend, I'll probably have like 3 reviews for the Bounding YouTube and some other articles I have out this week. So I have a lot of time to catch up on stuff. So that's all I'll be working on this weekend.
All right. And Spencer, where do we find you out in cyberspace?
In the, what is it? What did they call it in Digimon? Was it cyberspace? I don't even remember anymore. I thought there was
the digital world.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. The most simple term, and I somehow screwed it up. But anyway, yes, guys, it is me. Thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. It's always our pleasure, our honor to be able to hang out with you. It's, if not for your guys' support, not only could we not run Bounding, but we also couldn't host the show and hang out and do all the fun stuff. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Check out this YouTube channel every day where Cider is dropping some of the best coverage and best videos around. Go check out Jacob's stuff for where I am always hanging out because he's always got quality. Go check out Nerdigans for your actual good anime analysis and deep diving because she is the expert. As for me, always, you can check out boundingintocomics.com every day where we are dropping news stories. You can go check out my comic book live stream show with Andrew of the Rippaverse over on Foil Variant here on YouTube. And then, of course, you can go over to Studio Kabuto, which is my own channel where I have a live stream on Fridays where I hang out, talk to you about whatever's going on. And then I do that before I go hang out with Jacob. So that's all I've got going on. As always, come back here for another episode next week, and we'll see you soon. Can't wait.
What Spencer said.
Gonna ride into the night with a fire that burns so bright. Speed of light and a heart so strong. Chasing dreams where I belong. Wondering track.